a century later. One day, the hurricane met the tornado as Jardine met Yabba. As the name suggests, Yabba, real name Stephen Harold Gascoigne, was a heckler who became so famous that a statue was made of him. When Jardine was on the boundary swatting away some flies, Yabba yelled the immortal line, "Jardine, leave our flies alone. They're the only friends you've got here." Like Jardine before him, Stuart Broad is another figure who had a particular gift for riling the Aussie public, mainly due to his jaw-dropping survival at Trent Bridge in 2013, when he very visibly nicked off to slip and refused to walk. Broad is somewhat the modern Housery king. He officially became a sorcerer in 2023 when his random bail swaps twice bought a wicket with the next ball at the Oval. 3 tests earlier, after that Carey Bairstow run-out, Broad made sure he was right in the thick of the pantomime. Wicketkeeper Ian Healy issued one of the great lines towards Nasser Hussain. When Steve Waugh told Ricky Ponting to field right under Hussain's nose, Healy remarked, "That could be anywhere within a 3-mile radius." Poor Nass. But perhaps the most poetic of sledges came from bowler of lightning bolts Dennis Lillee about the Yorkshireman of Yorkshiremen, Geoffrey Boycott, about whom Lillee wrote this: "He's the only fellow I've met who fell in love with himself at a young age and has remained faithful ever since." Priceless.
Good afternoon, I'm Adrian Durham, and if like me, you want to listen to Andy and Benty on Drive, then do not go anywhere, because they're hosting the after draw party from 7 live from Washington DC here on talkSPORT. So you'll not be missing your usual fix of the brilliant Drive duo. They're just on a little bit later than normal. And by the way, if you didn't catch their meet-up on the show with Robbie Williams yesterday, go to the schedules on the talkSPORT app, go to yesterday's Drive, and you can listen back to it. Sensational stuff. Robbie was with them for the last half hour of the show and told us which band would win a fight if Oasis took on Boyzone. And then Ali McCoist joined them. Fantastic entertainment. Described the toilet in his hotel room as magnificent, and then they had a B-day off. It was just brilliant. It's all over the talkSPORT socials as well. We are also on YouTube for this World Cup draw this afternoon, so let's get cracking. It's the World Cup draw live from Washington coming up on talkSPORT.
A night of madness, a night of mayhem, a night of Messi. They're the champions, World Cup winners in 2022.
For me, it's always the eye test. I think to be the best player in the world, it's got to look like Messi.
Right footed, he's hit it into the bottom left-hand corner. Mbappe has a hat-trick. He has his place in history.
I think France has a chance to win the World Cup, but they need identity into the team. You know, they need DNA, something like that.
And it is the Spanish who are the 2024 European champions.
I think if you look at Spain, it's harder and harder to find a reason not to rate them as favourites.
It's in! Scotland are going to the World Cup final!
98, long time, and it's every boy's dream to grow up talking about playing for Scotland at a World Cup.
He's in behind Neymar, he's rounded the goalkeeper, and he fires into the roof of the net!
Kane, 2-0. Great ball in from Rashford. Harry Kane came to meet finds it.
The expectation of all the club, the history of England and the expectation level is always huge. With England, we've always got a chance.
It's so exciting. The football is everything. This happens once every 4 years. It is such an exciting day. It's the World Cup draw and it's coming up on talkSPORT. And while Infantino over there has lined up Kevin Hart and Heidi Klum, talkSPORT has got together an incredible guest list for the next 3 hours. The last Englishman to win Premier League Manager of the Season is with us. Alan Pardew, you okay?
I'm very good, thank you.
That's quite the introduction. It's absolutely true.
Well, it is true.
The former Scotland captain Charlie Mulgrew is here as well. You okay?
Yep, delighted to be announced Scotland captain. That was only 1 game or 2 games, but I'll take that.
Well, it happened. I mean, nobody can take it away from you. Yep. Absolutely. Plus, he has played and survived Mexico City, amongst others, haven't you? So,
oof, just about, yep.
We'll find out a bit more detail about that. The former England captain Stuart Pearce will be with us a little bit later on. Also here to answer all those questions about the tactical nuances of the Curaçao national team and how to pronounce Cape Verde properly. It's Andy Brassell. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Do you know the answer to every single question we're going to ask?
Let's go with that and just readjust our expectations as the evening unfolds.
Either of you two want to test him already?
Not just yet.
Okay, you're going to warm up. Keep the pot bubbling for a little while and we'll see what goes on. The draw is happening live from the Kennedy Center, Washington, D.C., right on the Potomac River. Mile or so from the White House. The draw is 45 minutes or so. There's a show lasting 120 minutes. Culminates with village people performing YMCA, which is Trump's unofficial anthem. So we thought we'd end this show here with us guys doing YMCA. I haven't told any of them.
Not in my contract.
Alan's got his war bonnet, the Indian headdress ready already.
No.
What do you mean not in your contract?
It's not in the contract.
You've got a contract. Charlie's brought in his leather jacket and black peak cap top to go with his hairy chest.
Ready to go.
Stuff you wear at weekends normally. Andy Brassell's just dressed like he usually does, so that works. Stuart Pearce just telling his driver to turn round and go home, I think. There are 48 teams. It's the biggest ever World Cup. 3 host countries, Canada, Mexico and the USA. Usual suspects are in there already, plus countries you might not even have heard of. Andy, let's get the basics with you first of all. The draw will be today. The venues and kick-off times of games are not actually going to be confirmed for sure until tomorrow, are they? By the end of this show, broadly, what will we know?
We'll know who's in what group with who and who's playing who in which order. So really the only bit that we're going to find out tomorrow, and this is the main bit for the fans, exactly where those matches are going to take place and exactly the kick-off times, because presumably there'll be some climatic adjustments, some distance adjustments. We're talking about a bit like going back to before the Qatar World Cup, which was of course very small and self-contained. We're going back to the days of 2014 Brazil and 2018 Russia, where you're talking about covering a very large landmass. So sorting that out, I think it kind of makes sense, even if it takes a little bit of the edge off the draw. I think it makes sense to do that tomorrow. So, but what we are going to find out is who England are playing. And now I suppose we could talk about what would be their most difficult draw and what would be their easiest draw. But we'll also find out because Scotland have got the possibility of being in the opening game.
They have. Now, that is if they are drawn out with Mexico in Group 1.
In Mexico City. You don't have to play, Charlie, so that's fine. You can just watch it from a safe distance.
Yeah, you might have to be there.
I played Mexico City, obviously, in a World Cup, build-up to World Cup. Mexico are going to the 2018 World Cup. And we played them in Mexico City. I don't know how far above sea level it is, but I know after about 3 strides in the warm-up I could barely breathe. Never mind the game. Thankfully I started on the bench and came on as a sub, but I don't know how the lads played 90 minutes. It was a real tough place to play, and hopefully Scotland don't get that early doors, because I don't think it's made for Scotsmen.
Would it be wrong of me to say you should have been fitter? Is that harsh?
You're probably right. You're probably right, but I think that's fresh Scottish air. You don't find that anywhere in Mexico. So, it was. You're probably right. Probably should have been fitter, but we spent a long time out of possession. I'll be surprised to know, which makes life a bit more difficult.
I was only joking, Alan. In terms of England, and you've taken teams to America. In terms of England, I'm not sure there are many advantages. They've just got to deal with what's thrown at them, really, haven't they?
Yeah, I think obviously, and the side of the draw will be important, I think, because obviously we're seeded to be on one side, and when you're looking hopefully for our side of the draw to be slightly easier, but that will sort of unfold today. The big worry for Thomas Tuchel, of course, is logistically where he's going to be based, where the base camp will be, the distances they're going to have to travel, the time zones, etc., and more importantly, the heat and the timings of the kickoffs, which I understand will be Saturday. We'll find that out, won't we?
That's right. We're going to find that out tomorrow. Look, you would hope that a little bit of common sense comes into that, but there's always a bit of push-pull, isn't there? Because the fact is that there are a lot of European TV networks who would like the sort of kickoff times that the national teams and the players wouldn't, because they want primetime audiences, understandably. But really, obviously, the managers, the coaches, and the players, they will be hoping for later kickoffs, so it's a little bit cooler in some of these places.
Yeah, well, listen, those are details that are confirmed tomorrow. You may well get them at the end of Game Day Live. Alan and I are on Game Day Live tomorrow from around about 2:30, all the goals as they go in, through until 5:30. If not on that show, then after 5:30 on the phone-in. We are looking forward to the World Cup draw, but we'll also be looking at last night's footballers, and in fact the week's Premier League football as well. Plenty more build-up to that draw to come. On talkSPORT this week, you've heard all 10 Premier League games exclusively live across the network. The midweek offering ended last night with a draw at Old Trafford.
You never quite know what you're going to get with this Manchester United team. Back to Casemiro with a shot. Big deflection. Dallo turns it in at the Stretford end. And Manchester United lead. Footed corner into the near post. Headed off the line. And the rebound is in. West Ham have got themselves an equaliser. Magassa was there. And boos from some as the final whistle blows. Manchester United 1. West Ham United 1.
Oh, Alan Pardew, it feels like a Sunday afternoon. I feel like majestic. Although we should be talking about Spurs. Ian Rubbish again. No, let's talk about Man United, because I think there was an expectation once they went 1-0 up that everything was going to be all right. They'll see through another win. And they got the win on Sunday, which was great for them. But it just didn't work out like that. And any wonder there were boos at the end, because it was so flat, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're kind of beginning to wonder about Amorim. He's so brilliant with the press. He kind of can deflect a lot of the criticism, but his performances, when you actually judge him on his performances of the team, they really are disappointing. And there's another disappointing night. There's been a few highs, the obviously result at Liverpool, etc., this season, and they look better offensively. Even at times last night, there were some nice moments, but defensively, they still look, to me, vulnerable, really vulnerable, and up against, well, I don't even like to say it, but I thought West Ham were poor last night. They got a result in the end, but I worry for West Ham. I think they got some serious worries about staying in the division. But for Man United, that drive, that constant pressure, when you go to Old Trafford, that kind of feel that you get as the opposition, that it's all coming down at you, they're going to get a late goal. It didn't materialise, and it hasn't materialised for a lot of games there. And unfortunately for Amorim as well, it's on the back of a long period of negativity up there. So it's a difficult place they find themselves. They should have won last night. They didn't. And again, they're going to have to pick themselves up.
I've got to pick you up on what you said about West Ham, your old club. It is 3 wins in 14. They are still in the relegation zone. And you think even though they've got a point away from home, there's real cause for concern in terms of their Premier League future.
Well, I keep, obviously we do our show on a Sunday and, I cover all the Premier League teams. And when I look at all the other Premier League teams and I look at West Ham, I think they are in trouble. Because I can't see when I look at Wolves and Burnley, I'd put West Ham above them. Would I put West Ham above Everton? Would I put them up against Nottingham Forest? I don't think I would. So they find themselves in my opinion, in a situation where they're going to have to really keep one eye on below them and keep fighting right till the very end of this season.
Very interesting. You might want to have your say on that. You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with Just Eat. Right now, there are millions of prizes to be won when you order on the app and play Winter Winners. 18+ terms apply. Man United, West Ham fans, we'll be taking your calls next on last night's game. 03717 223344. Head over to the Kennedy Centre ahead of the World Cup draw very shortly as well. It's talkSPORT.
almost ready to go. Ian Dancer here in the commentary box. But it is all about whether Dean Saunders can retain the talkSPORT World Championship. To win the leg. She's got it! Gets it! Double nine! He refuses the handshake.
Now, brand new podcast has landed from talkSPORT, How to Win the World Cup. Comedian Matt Ford is joined by World Cup winners like Emmanuel Petit, Cleverson is on there as well as England legends, celebrities, journalists to compile a go-to guide for Thomas Tuchel to help England win the trophy in North America next summer. So go and check out How to Win the World Cup podcast, available now via your favourite podcast provider. Going to be taking your calls very shortly on Man United 1, West Ham 1, 03717 22 3344. But let's head over to the Kennedy Centre in Washington, D.C. ahead of the World Cup draw. It's coming up live on this show, the World Cup draw. We'll find out who Scotland and England will be facing at the World Cup next summer. But let's join our chief football correspondent at talkSPORT. Alex Crook is there for us. Alex, it's pretty cold, isn't it?
Good afternoon, good morning, as it is over here in Washington. You're right, pretty cold is an understatement. I woke up this morning to snow outside the hotel room window, which isn't great actually, because some of my colleagues have taken 2 hours in the queue to get through security into the Kennedy Centre in the snow. Luckily, it was only about half an hour for me. I was here nice and early. But yeah, it's a beautiful backdrop to what should be a really fascinating draw later on this afternoon.
Yeah, it should. In terms of the draw, what's the atmosphere like around the draw, with the chatter around the draw as well?
Certainly, the anticipation is building. Obviously, we know now that Donald Trump is going to give a speech. So is Infantino, the FIFA president, which is always entertaining and at times controversial. And I've got to say, this feels like the most glitzy World Cup draw that we've ever seen. We know that our own Rio Ferdinand is leading the draw, but you've got greats from the world of American sport. Tom Brady has flown in to be part of that process. So too as Wayne Gretzky. We've got an eclectic musical mix before and after the draw. Andrea Bocelli, Robbie Williams, who of course joined us on Drive yesterday. What a top guy he is, by the way. And then the Village People. No World Cup draw would be complete without a bit of YMCA, will it?
Hey, Alex, Andy here. Well, obviously, we know that the US is going to be the main host of the World Cup, but there are two other huge sporting nations who are a part of it in Mexico and Canada. With it being in DC, how Mexico and Canada being included in this?
It's a really good point you make, because it does feel quite USA-centric at this moment in time. And actually, being in and around DC, a lot of people are pretty nonplussed about the fact the World Cup draw is taking place today. My Uber driver yesterday didn't even know it was happening. He was surprised that so many people had flown in. So, yeah, I don't think it's quite captured the imagination of the locals yet. But you're right, it's not just about the USA, is it? It's about Mexico and Canada as well. They've obviously got plenty of media representatives. We're hoping to speak to Jesse Marsh, former Leeds boss, now in charge of Canada. So it'll be interesting to see who they pull out, and as you say, how they are sort of addressed within the draw, because it does feel like it's very much the America World Cup at the moment.
Mark Carney, who's an Everton fan, is actually at the draw. I think the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, is there as well. And so Trump making his speech with those two flanking him potentially could be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And this is where you get into it, Alex, that there's... we all remember the speech that Infantino made last time out in Qatar, when he said, "Today I am gay," or went on to this list of things that it actually blew our minds, I think, that speech. Whether you appreciated the speech or not, it was hard-hitting, it was powerful. And for some, it wasn't powerful in the right way. And I expect the same today, because they have become very good friends, Infantino and Trump, haven't they, Alex?
That's an understatement, Aidan. And actually, that's the whole reason that we're here, because when talkSPORT asked me to cover this draw several months ago, I was told it was going to be in Las Vegas. And obviously, it's been moved to Washington at Donald Trump's bequest. There was that famous picture from inside the White House of him touching the World Cup trophy, which is almost unprecedented. And very much he is going to take centre stage this afternoon. And obviously, that is going to divide opinion and maybe take a little bit of focus away from the football itself.
Alex, we'll speak to you later. Enjoy yourself, but not too much. Thank you very much. Our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, in Washington at the Kennedy Centre ahead of the World Cup draw, which is coming up live on talkSPORT later on. Meantime, we are talking about last night's football. Before we go to the phone lines, let's hear from Ruben Amorim on the drop points, and also West Ham captain Jarrod Bowen on securing a draw at Old Trafford.
The game was there for us. We were defending far from the goal. 1 second ball, we knew it that they will try to win a corner or something, and that happened. We lost control a little bit the game after our first goal, but nothing major. So it's really disappointed to lose 2 points.
I mean, you're never happy with drawing a game. You want to win every game that you play, of course. I think especially in the situation that we're in as well, you want maximum points. But I think the way the game went, going a goal down with 15 minutes to go, it showed a real fight, a real hunger to get back into the game, and we managed to do that. And even at the end, nearly go on and win the game.
Let's speak to a Man United fan. Lee is with us on talkSPORT. Lee, how you doing?
Hello, guys. Yeah, not too bad. Obviously watched the game last night, and I've watched all of them. I'm a season ticket holder at United, but I said after the Everton game, I can't back Ruben Amorim anymore. I'm not going to boo him, and I never boo the side, but he just seems... He starts with 5 defenders, and then he brings another 2 on and substitutes, and just his decision-making and all this with Manu, it's very, very difficult to watch Manchester United play football, and I don't know where it improves.
I guess the question, Lee, is what really needs to change, because the fact is, it feels to me that with the Premier League is the way that it is this season, it feels like Arsenal are a lot better than everyone else, which means that there's an opportunity for United. If they can get themselves into a position where they can win 4, 5, 6 games in a row, they could be right in there. The Champions League's not out of reach with the right steering, is it?
No, they've only got the Premier League really to worry about. And it's not like we've got massive injuries. It's not like those players are not capable, because there's no one can tell me that squad that we have at United are playing the best football that they can play. And I firmly believe it's the system, it's the setup, it's how they play, it's how he wants them to play. It's just so confusing. There's no one can stand at Old Trafford or sit in the seats at Old Trafford when we talk to each other, can tell me what we do, how we play. It just seems to be, give it to Dallo or give it to Bruno or give it to Mbeumo. I mean, if we didn't have Mbeumo on that side this season, I think we'd be around about 14th.
Yeah, I mean, Mbeumo has been a bright spot, hasn't he? Listen, Steve, thanks for the call. Yeah. I can understand the misgivings, but they have given Amorim a fairly long time now with this system, and he hasn't strayed from the system. So I'm wondering if anything is going to change in terms of the manager. And let's not forget, they did actually win a game on Sunday as well. All right, it wasn't necessarily convincing, certainly not for the whole 90 minutes, but they did win a game. I mean, you're talking about putting a run together. Put a run together, fine. Does that look likely, United fans? If you want to keep your calls coming in, 03717 223344. You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with Just Eat, the app for all your delivery needs. And next, we're crossing back to the States. We'll hear from the usual Drive presenters, Andy Goldstein, Darren Bent with us next.
World Cup draw is happening live on Drive this afternoon. It'll be the first 48-team World Cup up from 32. But ahead of that, Thomas Concannon from the Footballers Supporters Association told talkSPORT fewer England fans will make the trip next summer because of the sheer cost of it.
We were speaking to a lot of England fans out in Albania at the recent game who will do the friendlies and maybe the first group game, but then come home. They'll maybe buy the conditional final ticket just in case we get there.
talkSPORT understands Kobbie Mainoo wants to leave Manchester United in January. Mainoo does not believe he has a future at Old Trafford under Amorim. But the United gaffer says there's nothing personal in his decision not to start Mainoo. City boss Pep Guardiola admits the way his team have conceded goals in their last 2 Premier League games is a worry. They held on to beat Fulham 5-4 midweek, while they needed an injury time winner to see off Leeds 3-2 last weekend. But Guardiola says they need to tighten up defensively.
We try to understand what happened to concede the goals and don't be as good as we were in the first half. It's part of the growth, part of the mistakes, it's part of the process that they have to accept it, and tomorrow another one.
And the location might be Abu Dhabi instead of the OK Corral, but the final shootout for the title is well underway. Lando Norris completed a perfect start in the second practice session, outpacing Max Verstappen by almost half a second. Oscar Piastri only finished 11th fastest, and you can follow the action tomorrow on talksport.com.
World Cup draw coming up live on talkSPORT from stateside. We'll be heading there very shortly to talk to Benty and to Goldstein as well. They are with you from 7 live from the States on talkSPORT tonight. That's coming up very shortly, crossing back to Washington, DC. But it's time now to get the latest odds with Paddy Power.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
And it's the Bet Builder with our friends at Paddy Power. Matt Keir, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for the World Cup draw, even if we're not actually in it yet. Still got playoffs to go through, but...
You might be, you never know. Listen, we're also looking forward to tomorrow afternoon in the Premier League. And, of course, tomorrow lunchtime live on talkSPORT, Aston Villa play Arsenal at Villa Park. It's a 12:30 kickoff, Matt. Remind us how the Bet Builder works.
Yes, so the Bet Builder is basically an accumulator on events within one match. You can have anything from goals, over-unders, corners, fouls, shots, yellow cards, anything you can think of, you can probably put it on a Bet Builder.
Okay, we've got a 5-leg Bet Builder. Here's our picks. Arsenal to win is pick 1. I've gone with that. And I know Villa are in form, but Arsenal are the best team in the country. Pick 2, Villa to have 3 or more yellow cards. The producer has gone with this, Boubacar Kamara to have 1 or more shots on target. So what do we think?
I think, well, for starters, as you say, Arsenal, at the minute, they are the best team in the country. They've only dropped points this season to Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea and Sunderland. But within Villa's form at the minute, of those 6 wins, only one of them is against the team above 14th and 2 of them are at home to weaker teams in Europe. So you would generally be backing Arsenal on that one. The over 2.5 cards for Aston Villa, they're sitting on 1.6 per game, but you'd always expect those kinds of stats to go up playing against the biggest teams in the league. And Kamara 1+ shot on target, that one's more chasing value over probability on this one. He averages about a shot on target every 3 games, But then within that, you're looking at 4-1 on the price. He does rarely play a full 90 minutes, and with Paddy Power's super sub, it's a little more enticing. Last 3 games, he's been hooked for Tielemans, McGinn, and Onana, who are 3 significantly more goal-scoring threats. And when your player comes off and your sub comes on, your bet's still on.
By the way, that's outrageous. I mean, he's picked Camera, and you're saying that somebody else could come on and have a shot. He's basically picked the wrong person. He still might get it right.
Yeah, well, that's super sub for you.
You're too generous. So talk to us about the other 2 legs. So the people's pick and your pick as well.
Yeah, the people have gone for Saka to have a shot on target. He's back fit, he's back starting, he's trying to play his way into the England 11 for the World Cup. He always just looks like the most dangerous player on the pitch. He's got penalties, he's got everything working in his favour. On my end, I'm going for over 6.5 corners. Arsenal themselves have been averaging 6 per game this season, with a little bit of help from Aston Villa only getting 1 or 2. It feels like a nice little booster to everything else that we've got so far.
Okay, so the odds on all that then?
So altogether, we are looking at 75-2. That is £10 would pay 385, all in the name of the Attitude Foundation, if we're lucky enough to get a winner.
Brilliant. Great stuff. That's Paddy Power's Bet Builder for today. Minimum odds 1 to 5 per leg, 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's super sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Just seeing pictures from the USA from the draw. Thomas Tuchel has arrived. He's laughing now. Will he be laughing next summer? Charlie hopes not. Former Scotland captain Charlie Mulgrew. Is it anyone but England for you? Is that the reality? Or
No. We're past that.
That's good.
Scotland. I want Scotland to win it. Scotland are going to go on a run in this World Cup. I'm very confident of it, and I hope we get England in the group to start with.
What, running and training or?
No, a nice wee run.
Oh, okay, right. Okay.
A wee run.
Yeah, the bonus that you lot have got is you can't get Norway because you're in pot 3. And nobody wants to get Norway.
Did you see the goals, our last 3 goals in our last game there? I mean, our campaign to qualify for this World Cup has been nothing short of remarkable how we've done it. Some bad performances and we've went and won, pick up points in one game, just go 3 of the best goals you'll arguably see in a game, having not played very well in the game. I mean, some of the players we've got now has just got that wee bit of class.
So there's expectation, isn't there? I mean, Charlie, I guess I would ask you, from the outside, it felt to me that Scotland did great to get to the last few Euros. This is the next step. But it felt to me, on the outside, that there was a lot of pressure on Steve Clarke for the negative results that there were in the Euros. So now they've actually got there. What do they need to do at this World Cup for Steve Clarke to retain support?
Well, Steve Clarke was losing support. You're bang on with that. I think that the fans were starting to get a bit unhappy with the way performances were in the last Euros. But this campaign actually started really well with a draw away to Denmark, so everybody's kind of back on board again, and then beat Belarus. So you're thinking, right, 4 points at a possible 6 in 2 sort of tricky games. And then the 4 games after that were generally bad performances. Like they weren't good performances. It's the most unlike Scotland thing I've ever seen, where we play bad and we win. Usually we play well and it's a glorious failure.
But that's having top level players for you, isn't it?
I think that's exactly it. I think you've got McTominay now, 18th Ballon d'Or nominee. You've got a Champions League winner in Andy Robertson. You've got John McGinn, captain of our Premier League team. I don't remember the last time we had this quality, a spine, a team. And the boys run about it. The best thing Steve Clarke's done is he's brought experienced players and kept them through the campaigns. So he's not changed the squad. There's been fans calling for younger players to be given a chance. And I mean, with all due respect, it's not a set of swings. It's a Scottish national team. You know, it's not a shot, giving them a shot and just let them go and play. Steve Clarke's been brilliant with that, and he's been rewarded because Kenny McLean comes on and scores that goal for the halfway line. Somebody's on the fringes, experienced player with a lot of caps, and people have said, well, maybe get Kenny McLean out and get a younger player in. He's bled some younger players in, but he's treated it like Sir Lennon Miller. He's brought him in, but he's treated it very much like a club. So he's I always remember speaking to Mick McCarthy years ago after he took he was a Wolves manager. He had a successful World Cup with Republic of Ireland, and he said he treated it like a club. No matter what the form was like for players in the club, he chose them. He chose it as if whatever they'd done for him, he then brought that. He treated them like that and judged their performances on that. So Steve Clarke's done things a lot similar to that. He's understand the tight bond the group have, how they all sort of get on, and he's not dismissed any of that. So everybody's played their part. Some world-class players in there, and listen, we're excited. We can't believe that we went group winners, having performed like we did, but we're there and we're excited about it.
And I think that the Denmark game and the nature of the goals surprised everybody and impressed everybody. But the quiz question in pub quizzes for years to come will be, who scored the other goal from half a yard? Does anybody remember?
Lawrence Shankland.
Lawrence Shankland. Of course you knew. Of course you knew.
Come on, Hearts are top of the league.
Well, not for much longer, I don't think. Let's head back stateside, shall we? The World Cup after party when we're done, when we know who's playing who at the World Cup, will feature Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent. They'll be your hosts on talkSPORT. They're in DC at the moment. Andy, Benty, how you doing? How you feeling? Are you excited?
Yeah, well, we're changing plan. We're not actually in DC. We decided to go to Lapland. I thought it'd be warmer.
Wow. I mean, that looks cold. If you can't see on YouTube, they're right outside the White House. It is snowing. We can barely see their faces because hoods are up. Honestly, you look cold. How cold are you?
I think how cold you could possibly be as a human, times it by 10 and add 47. Not only because we're standing outside and it's snowing, but this is the end of a 2-hour tour of Washington. Management, I want to use that word and underline that and stress that, management, Max, decided that we would have a tour before we went home, which I thought was a great idea. What he didn't tell us, and I'm not exaggerating here, it's in a golf buggy, an open-top golf buggy. So this is the end of that tour, hence us being absolutely frozen to death, aren't we, Darren? Are you still alive, Darren?
Barely, just about. Loved it though. It's been incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah. How are you in that warm studio? You good?
We're good. Don't worry about that. But Benty, I've never seen him look that cold. He's usually, got a bit of heat about him, it's a bit going on, but he does look absolutely frozen. Can he talk?
No, do you know what? I'm not too bad. Yes, I'm cold. Yeah, listen, I'm quite cold, but I've got my hand warmers in. Obviously, the guy who's responsible for the tour was very kind enough to bring some hand warmers and some blankets for the back of the car. But I can deal with these conditions. You know me, Pards. I can deal with any condition. So I'm actually really enjoying the cold weather.
Yeah, I bet you are. Listen, I listened to yesterday's show. Robbie Williams and you guys, absolutely outstanding. And then you throw Ali McCoist in. It's one of the most stellar shows I think we've ever had on talkSPORT. So how are you going to follow that up today? What are you going to be doing today?
Well, we're going to be reflecting on what you guys are doing live for talkSPORT, and that's looking back at what would have been the World Cup draw. We're all very excited. We're in the same bar. If anyone's in Washington and they've got moon boots and they want to come out and join us, they're more than welcome. It's called Tom's Watch Bar. And we'll be looking back on what will be an unbelievable day of football with some big-name guests. And we'll all be very, very excited about the possibilities of what opponents England can expect to have next summer. I know we look like we're not having fun at the moment. That's because we're currently not. But when we get into a bar and it's warm and we can have a cup of coffee, we will. We can't wait for the World Cup draw. And I'll tell you what, all jokes aside, World Cup fever has hit Washington. Everyone's very, very excited about it. Everyone's talking about it. And as you quite rightly said there, when we had Robbie with us yesterday and Ali McCoist, it just added to what was just a wonderful show to get involved with. And this is our last one of the week. It's been a brilliant week. We started in New York Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We got the train down Wednesday night to Washington. And then after today's show, we sort of pack up and we get back on a plane, ready for the week ahead at talkSPORT. But it's been a brilliant week. We've had so much fun, haven't we? We really have.
Yeah, it's been
hold that, because I'm so cold.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, Washington, first time I've ever been here, coming to the White House, seeing different landmarks. I mean, the tour's been brilliant. New York, the early part of the week was fantastic as well. But as you said there, the real stuff starts today. I'm hoping to get a little glimpse of maybe R9 potentially. Obviously, we had Nuno Gomez on yesterday, absolute legend as well. Ali McCoy sent me a picture this morning of him and Batistuta. I mean, if we can get any of these names in or get to meet any of these guys, it'll be absolutely incredible.
Listen, fantastic. We'll let you go and defrost, and hopefully you'll be able to top what you did yesterday, because that was some show yesterday. Thank you very much, guys. Andy and Benty, live from the snowdrift outside the White House. I mean, honestly, if you could have checked that out on YouTube, it's live right now, then unbelievable. They absolutely looked and sounded completely frozen, probably because they are. Now, our reporter, Ben Jacobs, is on the red carpet at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., ahead of the FIFA World Cup final draw. And he's been speaking to the USA President, Donald Trump, alongside him.
Mr. President, can America win the World Cup?
Well, I think so. I think a lot of people feel they have a little bit of a shot.
It's pretty stiff competition, but I would say they would have a small chance.
How honoured are you to win the FIFA Peace Award?
Well, that'd be an honour.
Yeah, he's fought off some top stiff competition to win that award. It must have been a huge debate about whether he was going to win that award as well. Nothing of the sort. Very quickly, Andy Brassell, USA, can they win the World Cup under Poch?
I'm going to say it's unlikely. I'm going to disagree with him.
Why?
Right, you've seen them play recently.
Go on.
Look, they've not been in great form. It's been really tough for Pochettino so far. Of course, a little uptick in the last international window, but it has been really difficult for him. And look, I think clearly they've got a couple of big players who are doing well in Europe who they can lean on. Christian Pulisic has become more and more important for Milan in the last year or so. But we're talking about a lot of competition here. It's got to be about getting out of the group.
There's also a big divide, I think, from what I can gather, between the fans of the USA and the players. I think the fans are not believing that the players are fully committed to the cause for whatever reason.
Pulisic was part of that, of course. But I think sometimes, I guess there's a lack of understanding about just simply how much football players are playing and that they need a break at some point. Now, you would have thought maybe there's no understanding of that in the US, correct me if I'm wrong, but because there's so many games in, say, MLB or NBA, there's a sense that you've got to be on all the time. But of course, we're almost getting to that sort of level with football and the amount they're expected to play.
You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with Just Eat. Order on the app today and you could win one of millions of prizes. 18 plus terms apply. Next, we'll continue to build up to the World Cup draw coming up shortly on the show and look ahead to the Premier League this weekend as well.
So, we are almost ready to go. Ian Danter here in the commentary box. It is all about whether Dean Saunders can retain the talkSPORT World Championship.
To win the leg. She's got it! Gets it! Double nine! He refuses the handshake.
So why would we be playing this? Because World Cup Draw is coming up live on talkSPORT from the Kennedy Centre in Washington. Meantime, talkSPORT's teamed up with Pitch Experiences to bring you an all-out VIP experience at the PDC World Darts Championship at Alexandra Palace on December the 23rd. You and three mates could be living it large with platinum seats, fine dining, a complimentary bar, exclusive access to the 501 Lounge with Ross the Voice Bray, and then it's straight to your prime table for the best view in the house as the darts drama unfolds. So get ready for an unforgettable Ali Pally Christmas. Here's how to enter. For your chance to win, text darts to 83338. Text costs £2 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 421 7508. Lines close at 4 p.m. on December the 18th. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus UK residents only. So for your chance to win, text darts to 83338 now. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. So tomorrow morning, 11 a.m, join Faye Carruthers live at Villa Park as Aston Villa take on Arsenal. It's live and exclusive on talkSPORT. Alan Pardew. Arsenal look like they're going to win the title. I thought Brentford missed a little bit of a trick in midweek. Arsenal without their key centre halves, and so Brentford leave out their top scorer and one of the Premier League's top scorers, which, I don't know, for those who want games to be competitive, I don't know, I was a little bit disappointed by that, to be honest with you. Then they're giving themselves the best chance of getting a surprise result, Brentford.
Yeah, you know, as a manager of the Premier League in the sort of bottom half of the division, sometimes you do kind of allocate games to sort of protect yourself a little bit, thinking, okay, I might use the striker later if we're still in the game, etc., but look into the fixture maybe at the weekend to save a few legs here and there. And when you get in a position like Arsenal are in, some of those things start to go their way. You know, that makes sense, doesn't it? You know, you've seen it over the years when some of them lower teams, particularly near the end of the season, they start playing the top teams who are going for the title. They might play a weaker team and save some bodies for the weekend. That does happen. Don't think it doesn't. I don't think that was the case in the week. I think Arsenal are just so powerful at the moment. They're so on, you know, in every area of the pitch, and obviously, and they got that outstanding striker from Spain, Mourinho, who can't stop scoring at the moment in this new centre-forward position. So, yeah, I mean, it's looking good for Arsenal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And Charlie, I think that I think the other point with that is last weekend, Keith Andrews did an interview with talkSPORT with Alex Crook saying, highlighting how good Igor Thiago's been up front for Brentford this season. And saying, you know, Brazil really need to have a look at him. He hasn't played for Brazil yet, hasn't been picked by Brazil yet. So, and I could understand that. I actually agree with that because I think they're struggling for a consistently good goal scorer up front, Brazil. So why not give him a shout before the World Cup? And then against Arsenal, he leaves him on the bench. So if you're, as a player, you'd be fuming with that, wouldn't you? Because you missed a chance.
Yeah, be fuming, and I don't understand it, to be honest with you. I think that it's not Brentford or in Europe or anything like that. Get your players playing, play games, your players want to play against the big teams. If they want to get picked for Brazil, you want your players to get picked for Brazil. You want to play them against Arsenal. I'm sure the player wants to play against Arsenal. So, no, I disagree with dropping players for the games. Obviously, Keith Andrews will have his own.
Resting.
Yeah, well
manager's term.
How do players see it, though? Would the players see it differently, though?
Definitely. As a player, from my point of view, you want to play every game. The manager comes and tells you he's resting you. You're no stupid. You think, right, well, that's a chance for somebody else. What if he comes in and scores a hat-trick? What if he comes in and does well? What if he comes in and gets a good result? What happens the next week? You know, it's not necessarily, I've seen it many a time where a player gets told he's going to be rested, the player comes in and does well in his place, and then the manager's there and try to make up other excuses. But I think you play your best players, you get your best players in the team, and it saves any confusion.
Well, and a huge part of this is because they're playing Spurs at the weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think if you're you know that Spurs are a bag of nerves at home at the moment. So I think if you're Brentford, your eyes light up. And if you're Igor Thiago, maybe he's even a little bit hungrier when he goes to Spurs, if he feels like you're describing, Charlie, and he's been annoyed at left out of that Arsenal game. That's bad news for Spurs.
Could turn out to be good man management for Keith Andrews in that respect.
Just going back to Thiago, I mean, I'd see an interview with him the other day, and what a citizen he is. You know, a real together person. And, you know, when he's he's on this little run of scoring goals, he just looks like a perfect kind of striker to cause Spurs all sorts of problems at the weekend. And resting him, I can see the logic in it, if I'm honest.
Okay. Yeah, I'm intrigued by it. It could work out in the end. They haven't had to travel, though. Brentford were at home last week, in London midweek, in London at the weekend. So it's a debate as to whether that was the right course of action or not. Arsenal get the 3 points, and of course they're at the top of the table. Spurs are nowhere near it. So, Alan, Thomas Frank seems to be putting himself under pressure sometimes with the things that he says. And I know this has been a huge discussion between you and Majestic on Sundays. I listen to every show, and I think it's fascinating. He's not completely at one with Thomas Frank, is he, Madge?
No, and, you know, we get a lot of callers about the situation at Spurs because the home form is putting him under immense pressure. You know, the golden rule for any manager, if there's any young manager, you must win your home games. That is everything, because that's where all the directors are coming. That's where most of your fans are coming, obviously. So, you know, you've got to send them home happy to keep the place calm. And when you're at a big club and you're not doing that, then you're asking for trouble. And Thomas Frank just cannot seem to get it right at home. And this is where he really needs to correct that. I think the way he set Brentford up, when he was manager at Brentford, a lot of times it was absorbing pressure and counter-attacking and on transitions, which he's really good at. And his away form at Spurs has kind of proved that. He's taken that format into Spurs away. But the home form, where they've got to dictate, they've got to increase the pressure, they've got to use the fan base. You don't criticise them in the press after, by the way. That's not going to help you. When you use the fan base, you know, at Newcastle, one of the real powers that it's very difficult to kind of explain to someone. But the power that we had when I was at home at Newcastle, when the fans got engaged in the game, was just takes it to another level. And I could almost turn around to the bench knowing that we're going to win this one, you know, because the fans are really sort of urging you and driving you on. It's such a force, and all the big clubs have that. And you know, that's what he needs to get at Spurs. He needs to get that up and running.
Yeah, and they seem to be nowhere near it at the moment. But Spurs, Brentford this weekend. One of the games we'll have for you on talkSPORT. You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with Just Eat. There are millions of prizes to be won when you place an order on the app and play Winter Winners. 18 plus terms apply. The moment you've all been waiting for is coming up. The 2026 World Cup draw build-up begins in full next, and the former England captain Stuart Pearce joins us as well.
Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. Just hearing these names makes you think money and the hundreds of millions of dollars, pounds or Saudi riyals in boxing. But that's at the top. At the bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world. And if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion, talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, you know, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against the real prospects, a young Anthony Joshua, for example, these guys will be lucky to earn more than 10 grand. So the average boxer isn't as rich as you'd think.
Well, the World Cup draw is getting closer and closer. It is going to be live here on talkSPORT. We're live in Washington, where the draw will be made at the Kennedy Center. talkSPORT has already heard from President Trump. He's spoken to us at the Kennedy Center already. More big names to come, including our top team here to react as Scotland and England find out who they face.
The greatest and most prestigious football tournament in the world.
Lionel Messi pens the ultimate ecstatic chapter to complete his already extraordinary story.
We've seen a World Cup goal that will be remembered for years and years and decades to come.
We've seen some inconceivable storylines.
It's a red card!
Zinedine Zidane sent off. We've seen some inconceivable scorelines.
Played inside the penalty area here.
Oh! 7. That's the best of the lot. Brazil 0, Germany 7.
Take a listen. Ask a question about this. Spain 1, Holland 5.
And this tops the lot. Eric Dyer wins the shootout. England have won a shootout.
Not write the script anymore at this World Cup. It's incredible.
Anyone could win it. It's Iniesta to win the World Cup for Spain. That's the goal! And so to the next instalment of the story.
History for Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Mbappe has a hat-trick. He has his place in history.
Comes to Vinicius Junior. 1-0.
Scotland are going to the World Cup finals. Kenny McLean. Oh, what a goal! Harry Kane completes his hat-trick.
There's a World Cup to be won.
Maybe it's our year.
We can only hope that it is our year. I'm Adrian Durham. This is talkSPORT. We're going to bring you the World Cup draw live on talkSPORT. As and when it happens, we'll find out who England are going to face and who Scotland are going to face, and others might be involved as well. With us, we have a top team, former Premier League Manager of the Season, the last Englishman to win that honour. Alan Pardew is with me to my left. You okay, Alan?
I'm very well.
And we have the former Scotland captain, Charlie Mulgrew, who's here as well. Charlie, you okay?
How you doing?
And we've been joined by the former England captain, talkSPORT's England man, Stuart Pearce. How are you feeling?
I'm on top form. I've sprinted all the way from Waterloo just to get here. Slid into first base, and what a team I've turned up to. Unbelievable.
Not even out of breath. It's incredible. And you've stuffed yourself with chocolates as well. I can't.
Not yet, I haven't, but I've seen the yummy bars to my and mince pies to my left.
He is about to indulge, I'm sure. So how are you feeling about England and confident, regardless of who they get? Are you confident anyway?
I've got to say, I love a draw. I get really excited. I went to 4 as an under-21 manager, and just the air of excitement around draw time, who you're going to get, where you're going to be based, what are the logistics. Myself and Pods had a chat about certain areas that we'll go into. I just think it's so exciting.
Oh, it is. There's no doubt about it. Do you like all the fluff around it as well?
No, that's why I've been in Waterloo, avoiding the fluff. I've avoided an hour of fluff just to get here now.
Heidi Klum, what's going on at the moment? I'll tell you what's going on at the moment over there in the Kennedy Centre. Heidi Klum, the German-American actress, model, and Kevin Hart, actor and comedian from Philadelphia. They will be, or they are currently hosting the World Cup draw. Various VTs going on. Andrea Bocelli has been singing live at the event as well. Are you a Bocelli fan?
Not so much.
Yeah, I thought you were a man of culture.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw Bocelli. I'm not really into that sort of music, but I saw him live in Rome at the Euros, the delayed Euros. Do you remember when he sung there? I was there, and it was deeply, deeply emotional. It's in there. Top 5 moments of my life. I've had a pretty poor life, to be honest.
Hey, you told me when I took you to Bruce Springsteen, that was number 1.
It was just behind Bocelli, I'm sorry.
Oh, like that, is it? I wish I hadn't bought the tickets now.
Did you take me to that? I don't remember that.
Do you not?
No, I don't remember you driving. I don't remember you paying.
Hey, you don't have to drive for me to take you there and hold your hand, fella.
Gianni Infantino's going to make a welcome address as well. And there's the Trump speech. We've already heard from President Trump. He's going to say a little bit more as well. But we've got plenty coming up. I mean,
when the draw's made, I really do. I think we've been looking, the England team that follow on commentary, we've been looking forward to this date for a long time. All of a sudden, the logistics in this building will go crazy about where we're going to base ourselves, the implications of that, the travel plans. And on top of that as well, what other groups can we cover as well as England's groups when we get out to the States and Canada and Mexico? And that's just an England-centric mentality. But to see who Scotland have got and to see who the other groups and see if there's any big head-to-heads in any of the other groups and the logistics, I just love it a bit.
Do you want to get Scotland? Charlie's sitting next to you.
In all honesty, I'm delighted. I'm one of the few Englishmen that actually got off my settee and cheered when England scored, when Scotland scored, and when England scored. To be fair, slip of the tongue.
A slip there, yeah.
I love all the home nations. I want all the home nations to be there at the big party, and that's the bottom line. So if it meant Scotland going out to be in England's group, I wouldn't want Scotland in our group. I want them in another group where they might have an easier draw, if you like, but England-Scotland...
Can you imagine England-Scotland at a World Cup in America? Can you imagine that game?
Yeah, it would be excitement.
Yeah, I mean, that could be, if it's in the right stadium, could be very, very... It won't be very special anywhere, but I'm talking a big stadium with a huge number of fans. Could be fantastic. Let's have a look at some of the key details of the draw that's coming up. And, of course, Andy Brassell, one of our European experts here at talkSPORT, is by the big screen. If you're watching on YouTube, this is going to be fantastic for you. So do check that out on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. But Andy Brassell, as hosts, Mexico, Canada, USA, they've already been assigned. So it's up to the rest, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So it's all going to be... The draw looks complicated, but when it starts coming out, it's going to be pretty simple because we're going to have fixtures straight away from when those draws come out.
We'll try and adjust Andy's mic very, very shortly, but I can tell you that they have been assigned to A, B and D respectively. The draw will begin with all the teams from Pot 1 being drawn from groups A to L. It'll then continue with Pots 2, 3 and 4 in that order, and the remaining 9 top-ranked teams in Pot 1 will be automatically allocated to position 1 of the group into which they are drawn. Okay, now listen, it might sound complicated, but actually it will become more easy. Once the draw starts to take place and unfold, it will become much clearer what's going on. It will be straightforward. So there's a lot of complications to it, but it is straightforward. And of course, there's a seeding this time around. And Alan, you mentioned this before, didn't you, that there's a seeding, and there are 4 seeds in Pot 1, and those are based on world rankings. Spain, Argentina, France and England are the 4th seeds. And the idea is, Alan, that they won't be meeting each other until the semi-finals if things go to plan. Do you actually like that idea or not?
Well, it's very similar, those who are tennis fans, to the Wimbledon draw's made, and that they put the big hitters far away so that they come together and should meet in the middle. I mean, that for me works at Wimbledon, and I think it would work in this competition. But we know football, it does have that kind of way of upsetting the odds, and there's no necessarily that the seeded teams are going to win their group. Now, in England, we've had a bit of history about that, Stuart. We're not winning our group over the years. So it's still like going to throw up some conundrums that we can't possibly imagine. But I think in principle, it makes sense.
Yeah, and what it also does is, and we had a look at the way the draw might pan out, Stuart, is it might well mean that, say, England could actually be paired with Brazil before the quarterfinals. So one of those big boys could go before the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think there's been time and time again over many tournaments that we've got excited looking further down the line, and all of a sudden you get tripped up en route, or someone does, or someone goes out the competition. What you do know is if England are going to go there and win a World Cup, they're going to have to probably knock out a minimum of 2 big hitters en route. So you've got to have the luck of the draw. You don't have the luck of the draw in many ways, and you've got to do your homework for that. You're going to have a problem.
Well, let's see. The draw is coming up. We'll have it live for you on talkSPORT. It's Drive on talkSPORT with Just Eat, from vouchers to cash prizes to Champions League final tickets. There are millions of prizes to be won when you place an order. 18 plus terms apply. Continuing the build-up next to that World Cup draw coming up shortly. And we'll look at some of the themes around the tournament as well.
almost ready to go. Ian Danter here in the commentary box. It is all about whether Dean Saunders can retain the talkSPORT World Championship.
To win the leg. She's got it! Gets it! Double nine! He refuses the handshake.
It's talkSPORT. We've got the World Cup draw coming up live for you in the studio with me, reacting to the draw in Washington. Former Premier League Manager of the Season, Alan Pardew, former England captain Stuart Pearce, and former Scotland captain Charlie Mulgrew. Andy Brassell is with us as well. We'll speak to him in just a second. The ceremony, we believe, is running a little bit over time. So Infantino's just been speaking. That's a little bit later than scheduled. And listen, we won't have all of those involved in the draw ceremony, but it does feature some great sports stars. The ice hockey legend Wayne Gretzky, who's obviously from Canada, 4 Stanley Cups, greatest ice hockey player ever. Baseball superstar Aaron Judge, who's still playing, already one of the all-time greats, 3-time MVP, 7-time All-Star, big-hitting Yankees captain. NBA giant Shaquille O'Neal, 4-time NBA champion, legend of the Lakers, but actually originally from New Jersey, only 10 miles from where the final's going to be played at the MetLife in July next year. So there's all those North American sporting legends, and then they've also drafted in the co-owner of Birmingham City. How weird is that? Tom Brady is there as well. That's a bit odd. And listen, as he told Drive yesterday, Robbie Williams is FIFA's musical ambassador. He's performing the official FIFA anthem Desire with the former Pussycat Doll, Hawaiian-born Nicole Scherzinger is there as well. Robbie's actually, it's a really good song. I was listening to it earlier, really enjoyed it. Also enjoyed Robbie's appearance on Drive yesterday for the last half hour of the show. You can go back on the talkSPORT app and check that out. And there's bits of that all over talkSPORT social media feed. Check out Instagram, first of all, at talkSPORT. But Andy Brassell, let's have a quick chat about some of the format of the draw. Initially, what's going to be happening, first of all? What should we be looking out for, first of all?
So, look, we're going to get a couple of fixtures straight away. We talked before about, because you've got 3 host nations.
We will get Andy's mic right. I promise you we absolutely will. Stuart Pearce, you've been to World Cups. You've played at World Cups. You've coached the England team at World Cups as well. People talk about, and you've talked about, the heat at this World Cup, making it really difficult. Just explain a bit more about that and why you think that could be a problem for England and why it's so important where England will be based.
Well, I think firstly, you've got to get the training regime correct. You're at the end of a long season. You know, Parder's managed a hell of a long time, and he'd probably echo this. At the end of a season, I think it's right to try, and sometimes I've seen managers come in leading into tournaments. You've got to take the foot off the gas a little bit. You've got to keep them sharp mentally, but you've got to take your foot off the gas slightly in a physical nature. That is really important for me. You go to a major tournament and the draw's going to dictate, and the training camp's also going to dictate the heat that you've got, on a daily basis when you're training, and probably more importantly, when you're at the stadiums. I mean, we're fortunate in Qatar having the air-conditioned stadiums, which was really good. So you prep for certain things. You've got to do your work beforehand, that's for sure. But the one thing the FA have got, and I know from my experience working inside, they leave, and have done for decades, no stone unturned in their preparation. They'll get one of the best training camps available. They'll station themselves where they think's correct for travel, for training, for climate. All of those type of things will be thrown in the mix. And from that, they hope to stage a major World Cup. This one throws itself out a bigger problem than ever Qatar did. Qatar was an absolute doddle. You need a good training camp, and the travelling's at, what was it, hour and a half?
Non-existent.
Non-existent. This one has gone from the sublime to the ridiculous. It really is. You're across 3 countries here, you know, and the draw is going to sharpen the focus today of all the nations.
And the other thing I think where Thomas is going to have a real balancing act to do will be the sports science department of the FA, more or less kind of dictating where the timing, the schedule and everything else should be, and the work that he wants to get done. You know, when you look at this World Cup, there's 8 games to win it. You've got 4 in the group. Well, you could lose one of those. You possibly could lose 2, but you've got to win the 4 knockout games, of course. So that first part could be like, you know, as Stuart's sort of hinting at, where you just slow it down a little bit and just gear it up as you go through the groups so that you peak at those knockout games, because they're the ones that are really going to matter. So that's the equation that they kind of have to work out logistically and climate-wise. I think that's a really tough call, where they're going to base themselves and what climate they're going to train in, because ultimately, are you going to train in a hotter climate part of the country so that all the games come easier, or are you going to be in a cooler part of the country and then therefore face the heat later on? So all those equations they have to go through.
And training times as well,
of course,
dictated. Do you train in the evenings, which it bucks against the trend of what we're used to as footballers on a daily basis. But
and game times that you're playing, Stu.
Yeah. Can I just ask Thomas Tuchel, what can he bring differently to Gareth Southgate in the past? Obviously got to finals, got to semi-finals. What can he bring differently? I know the planning's always perfect with FA, and they always get everything meticulously bang on, and Gareth Southgate was no different. But what can Thomas Tuchel bring? What makes you believe that England can go and win the World Cup?
I think if you asked a supporter, you would say it's that little bit of magic dust that gets you over the line in those games where you need a tactical change, maybe. If you ask any supporter, they'll say the reason why Tuchel's been brought in because maybe his tactical approach might be slightly better than Gareth's. Now, I think time will tell on that. You know.
Let me just add something to that, Stu, because I think it is important. The one thing that Gareth never had was something that had won in terms as a manager. So where there was always a pressure on his substitution and everything. Well, he hasn't won anything anyway. So the media used to use that tool. And I think players read and absorb the media. With Thomas, because he's won the Champions League and won trophies, I think it's going to be a little bit easier for him. You know, he'll make sure, but he has won something, you know. So maybe he got it wrong this time. So I think he's got a little bit of leeway. Yeah. Does that make sense?
100%. And you've got to understand as well, the squad of players have had all that experience as well.
And they've gone close.
Tuchel's took over that squad of players with all that experience. And let's be honest with you, Gareth from 2016 has embedded all that experience and that know-how and that mentality over those 8 years that he's been in charge.
So we'll bring in Andy Brassell again, fingers crossed.
Come on, Andy.
This time.
If it doesn't work, I'll just shout this time.
It works. That initial part of the draw, what are we looking at?
Well, I think we're looking at the fact that we're going to get fixtures straight away. Now, one of the frustrating things I know supporters find about, say, the Champions League draw is you draw the teams and then you do another draw to draw the groups. We've got preset destinations for all of the teams. So as well as having 3 host nations in Mexico, the US and Canada, we've got slots. As soon as the teams come out, we know what group they're in. So we've got fixtures straight away. And the first one we're going to get is whoever comes out of pot 3 to face Mexico. And could be Scotland.
Could be Scotland.
I mean, they won't want Norway. Let's put it that way.
Well, nobody wants Norway. Scotland can't get Norway, which is great for Scotland, but Norway are the big ones from pot 3 that nobody wants to get. And what Andy's saying there is absolutely spot on. So, for example, if England are drawn as the side from pot 1 in Group C, they know they'll be playing games, or at least as far as things go at this moment in time, they know they'll play games possibly in Atlanta, Boston, Miami, New York, New Jersey, or Philadelphia. Those are the potential venues for those Group C games. Now, we also know very quickly, Andy, that tomorrow or overnight it will all be finalised and times of kickoffs and venues will be confirmed completely. So we might have a good idea by the end of today, by the end of this draw, but it won't be fully confirmed until tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that is important, what the guys are talking about travel time, about climate. All of those things really matter. And I think those will be taken into account as well, because obviously European TV networks will have their say in that as well. But look, we'll have all the fixtures, we'll have the opponents, we'll have the potential path, because of course the top four of Argentina, Spain, the European champions, England and France. Don't think of it as a draw of halves, it's more a draw of quarters, because they're going to be kept apart, and they will be kept apart all the way to the semi-finals unless they don't win their groups.
There it goes. Those top four should be the semi-finalists, but we know it's football. We know it's a World Cup. Anything can happen. It's Drive on talkSPORT with Just Eat. Right now, there are millions of prizes to be won, from Champions League final tickets to £1,000 in cash when you place an order on the app. 18 plus terms apply. World Cup draw coming up very shortly on talkSPORT.
The World Cup draw is happening live on Drive this afternoon. It'll be the first 48-team World Cup up from 32. But ahead of that, Thomas Concannon from the Footballers' Supporters Association told talkSPORT fewer England fans will make the trip next summer because of the sheer cost of it.
We were speaking to a lot of England fans out in Albania at the recent game who will do the friendlies and maybe the first group game, but then come home. They'll maybe buy the conditional final ticket just in case we get there.
talkSPORT understands Kobbie Mainoo wants to leave Manchester United in January. Mainoo does not believe he has a future at Old Trafford under Amorim. But the United gaffer says there's nothing personal in his his decision not to start Mainu. City boss Pep Guardiola admits the way his team have conceded goals in their last 2 Premier League games is a worry. They held on to beat Fulham 5-4 midweek, while they needed an injury time winner to see off Leeds 3-2 last weekend. But Guardiola says they need to tighten up defensively.
We try to understand what happened to concede the goals and don't be as good as we were in the first half. It's part of the growth, it's part of the mistakes, it's part of the process that they have to accept it, and tomorrow another one.
And the location might be Abu Dhabi instead of the OK Corral, but the final shootout for the title is well underway. Lando Norris completed a perfect start in the second practice session, outpacing Max Verstappen by almost half a second. Oscar Piastri only finished 11th fastest, and you can follow the action tomorrow on talksport.com.
Good evening, I'm Adrian Durham. With me is the former England captain Stuart Pearce, the former Scotland captain Charlie Mulgrew, and the last Englishman to win Premier League Manager of the Season, Alan Pardew, is here as well on World Cup Draw Day. We'll find out who England are going to get, we'll find out who Scotland are going to get, and Andy Brassell, our European expert, our world football expert, will be able to put it all into context for us as well. It's time now for talkSPORT's preview of the FIFA World Cup 2026 final draw, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van.
talkSPORT's FIFA World Cup 2026 draw preview, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van. Search Sprinter Service B for the current fixed price offer.
Now, I want to talk about Morgan Rogers, the England number 10. Basically, I think the shirt at the moment could be considered his. Our reporter Angelina Kelly has been speaking to the Villa and England player about his ambitions of playing at the World Cup next summer.
The best teams to win tournaments, to go far in tournaments. They have a squad, they don't have a team, and of course everyone wants the shirt, everyone wants to play, everyone wants to be the man and wants to contribute. Of course we do. We're all human, we're all footballers, we all want to shine and impress, but it might be different people for different days, different occasions, different styles of play. There's a whole load of things that go into it. It's just about each other as an individual, making sure we're at the best of our ability, the peak of our powers, and we're ready to go. And when we put on that shirt, we give it our all and give it our best. And I'm no different, whether they're my friends, whether I don't know them that well. I don't think it makes a difference. I think we're there as a team, we're on the same side, we're not plotting each other against each other. It's never been about that. I think that's more of a media thing, a perception that they like to have a debate and stuff. It's not something that we focus on. We're on the same team and we want the best for each other, and it's no different.
I was going to say that whole media perception, because, you know, there's a lot of talk and, you know, people thinking that Jude didn't want to come off the pitch and stuff like that. But for me, it just comes across more like you're all very passionate. He's a passionate person and he wants to do the best job. Is that probably more accurate?
Well, I've known him pretty much all my life and I know exactly what he's like, and he's just got a passion and a drive and a desire to win and to be the best player, and that's why he's doing so well. That's why he's where he is because of his...
That's why he's playing for Real Madrid?
It's his mentality, it's his attitude, it's all them things above, and he just wants to win and shine and do well on the biggest stages, and he's already done so much in his career and he wants to do more. He wants to be the guy to lift the World Cup for England and to score winning goals and to take games away from opposition teams, and he's there for a reason, and that's all it is. He's a great person to be around. He's an unbelievable player, and we should be lucky that we have a player like that on our side competing for England as a nation, because he's world class.
Well, that was Morgan Rogers speaking to talkSPORT at the brand new Puma flagship store in London. Angelina Kelly asking the question. Stuart Pearce, you and I have had so many conversations about Jude Bellingham. And Morgan says that he's known him all his life. So I think he's his mate, but I'm really intrigued as to what he said there, more so about the whole group being together.
Yeah, I don't think there's... sometimes you see certain individuals playing in the same position. You think there's antagonism between the two. I mean, in my time, I was understudy to Kenny Sampson for a while, and I revered Kenny, to be quite honest with you. And then when I got the number 3 berth, Tony DeRigo, myself and him get on brilliantly. And then I go out the squad, but still around the squad, and Graham Lassau's the left back, and you support him. So I think sometimes people look at players in the same position and think they won't get on because of this or because of that, because they're vying for the same place. But sometimes you can be the best of friends.
Have we, in terms of Jude Bellingham, and I'll ask you, Charlie, being from the player's point of view, and the most recent player here, is there too much said? Is there too much media chatter about Jude Bellingham, and do we interpret and sometimes misinterpret every single action that he does, whether on or off the field?
Yeah, I think when you've got a character like Jude Bellingham with such quality, it plays with freedom on the pitch. I think what comes with that, you walk a tightrope. You get some times where he refuses maybe to come off the pitch. He maybe gets in arguments with managers. He maybe gets in arguments with his own players. He gets booked for the referee. We've seen him have bits of dissent and some arguments and fights with referees. And I think that comes part and parcel. And I think in the media we'll talk about it, make a big deal of it. But I think when you want these top-class players, this is what comes with it. We see Ronaldo getting sent off in his last game by Portugal there. These top players walk a tightrope, in my opinion. And what comes with that, sometimes it goes over the edge a wee bit. But a lot of the time it can produce world-class moments, like we've seen his overhead kick in the last Euros. He can produce big moments for England. And I think that's why I ask about Thomas Tuchel, because I think that it's up to him to get the best out of these players and make sure that they feel the love from him, they feel that connection, and allows them to go out. And he understands that it might spill over at the edge at times, but also they'll bring some great moments. And I think Bellingham's a player that needs to play for England. And if he's not playing for England and he's on the bench, he's upset about it. You wouldn't want... I mean, there's two good managers here and coaches here, in Stuart and Alan, and you wouldn't want your players to be happy about being on the bench. You want them to be upset. You want them to, even though it's their mate maybe in front of them, you want them to be a bit of needle in training. You want them to fight for their place, because that's what creates competition within a team. And Jude Bellingham.
Question at a World Cup, though, Charlie, because I think you're talking about.
Hang on, Andy. Sorry, just want to hear from Alan on that, because you. Sometimes there's a quality clearly with Jude Bellingham, but there are issues with him as well that the media see. But is that totally up to the manager, and it doesn't really care it doesn't really matter what the media say?
Well, look, first and foremost, Jude Bellingham's no wallflower. He's got a personality that retracts into his game. So, part of what he is as a footballer is a strong personality. So I'm sure he's not easy at times. But Thomas, the manager, Tuchel, at times for me, has kind of fueled the agenda with the media about Jude. He's the problem. He's, he leaves him out and he talks about him, the mother quote, his mother, and I just think he should have put that all to bed and just really embrace this character, because we ain't winning the World Cup unless he's playing, in my opinion.
Do you think so? Because I really like Morgan Rogers. His pass for Watkins for the equaliser the other night.
He's a great player.
Unbelievable. So would it be that absurd to think that Jude Bellingham's on the bench while Rodgers is in the 10, or Phil Foden's in the 10 even?
Jude Bellingham could be in the 8. What necessarily means he needs to be in the 10. What you do need, and I'm sure Stewie might back me up with Gaza, you wouldn't leave Gaza out of the team. Now, you could say, oh, well, Jude Bellingham's not Gaza, but I think he is of that quality, different type of player. And I think at some point they will fall in love with each other.
I look at Alex Ferguson. I think you're spot on with that. Would he have left Cantona out?
No.
He'd have caused some problems in his time. I imagine a changing room and spilt over the edge. But I think when you're an artist and you play with that sort of freedom, I think that comes with territory sometimes.
I think this is probably how I see it. I think if you're a manager and you see that if you put a Gaza and you put a Cantona and you put a Jude down and said, is there a slight difference between all three of them? The perception is that two of them are team players, Cantona and Gaza, but the perception of Bellingham is maybe he's in it for himself slightly. Now, I know you've got to be self-centric as a player. That's what makes players the quality that they are. But somewhere down the line, the only thing that matters at the end of the day, when everyone boards an aeroplane to arrive in the map that we've got in front of us, is a unified squad, because only a unified squad will win a tournament.
Yeah, well, I think Bellingham will be more of a problem if he ain't playing, Stuart, in that term. But I also think that with him, I don't think he's selfish when I watch him play. Now, they put that trait against him. It might be that, okay, he absorbs the press a little bit more and gets a bit kind of, I don't know, defensive about the media coverage that he gets. I think there's a bit of that in there. But I don't think he plays selfish. And I certainly think, for me, he should play.
I don't think that the Portuguese media or fans will be talking about the selfishness of Ronaldo.
Yeah, I mean, we do know that he
you
can
know what I
be
mean?
selfish on occasion.
Yeah.
And he's done no too bad.
He scored a few goals.
Yeah.
Portugal, 1 or 2. And they've done a few things with him in the side.
And I could say another name as well, Mbappe, who gets it a lot in the French press about how selfish he is and that players don't want to play for him, etc., etc. But, you know, I'm pretty sure he's going to start for France.
I think that we're all agreed that Bellingham's going to be in the squad. Would you think he's guaranteed to be in the 11, Stu?
I think with this manager, on what I've seen over the last 4 games, I don't think there's a guarantee.
No, I agree with that.
I think he's put a statement down. No one's guaranteed. Your form's got to get you in or get you out, you know. And I've been in and around squads and looked on occasions and thought to myself, you're not in this team on form, you're in on reputation, and that's a dangerous thing to have. You know what I mean? I think for any manager.
I think the person I'll really worry about, or I think would be great to take to the World Cup, is Trent. Because obviously he took like a bad injury. He looked in the week, and he's been out for 2 months. He's not really been part of Thomas's team.
Yep.
I'll worry for him.
Yeah, there are some who, like Trent, who haven't really played under Tuchel. Cole Palmer's played 60-odd minutes under Tuchel and didn't play particularly well in that game. And he's in a position, Cole Palmer, where there's a lot of competition. And in fact, that number 10 position, we're talking about it with Jude. You mentioned Jude could play the 8, and of course he could, but Declan Rice is the 8 at the moment, surely. And I don't think that's going to change, barring...
Well, Declan could be the 6.
Elliot Anderson has made the 6 his own, hasn't he? Am I missing something here?
No,
I can't see that midfield shake-up of...
Well, at the
Anderson,
moment,
Rice
because, you know, but form changes and England teams change dramatically when you get into those last 3 months of the season, because suddenly players really get into their groove and they're going for the title, they're this, they're that, and they can evolve into something else. And the England team, even in tournaments, look at the tournament when Peter Beardsley didn't get a game, and then we suddenly looked at an amazing team when they put him in the team.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, 86. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the team that got to the quarterfinals and lost to the hand of God was very different to the team that started.
Correct.
Certainly up front as well. But it's a conundrum, isn't it? And I think that the whole world...
Nice conundrum, isn't it?
It is. But when you've got Jude Bellingham and he's won everything, I think the outside perception is, yes, that he can be quite selfish. I think I understand what you're saying there, Stuart. But it's also that you can't surely leave him out if you want to be serious about winning a World Cup.
I always stripped it back whenever I managed, and I thought, is that the best 11 on a football pitch? And I'll take the flack outside the football pitch, and maybe that's why I haven't lasted a great length of time as a manager, maybe. But that's how I looked at it. The best players will be in the team, and they're in, and every time you go and face either the group or the media and answer questions, why is that your 11? Well, because they're the ones on form and they're the best players, and that's the unity that 11 have got. And I think that's fair, whether it be Jude or whether it be anyone else. A player playing, you know, we talked about the options that England have got. You know, Eze can play there, Foden can play as a 10, Bellingham can play as a 10.
It's probably our strongest position we've had at number
100%.
10 for many a year. Well, forever perhaps.
Yeah.
Because it's always been a problem position for us, unlocking a really tight defence, like coming up against Denmark or Norway in the past and Sweden. We could never break them down, never had the quality. Now, we should definitely have the quality to break anyone down.
So how can we name in the 5th of December what we think the number 10 will be in 8 or 7 months' time?
Correct.
It's impossible because the form varies that much. I remember a couple of months ago, and we should know better, Lewis Skelly was going to be England's left-back for the next generation. All of a sudden, he can't get in Arsenal's team, and he's fighting to get in the international team. We should know better, but we don't.
No, it's true. And he can't even get in the squad at the minute. That could turn around as well.
100%.
But there is only one camp left, England camp left before he has to pick the World Cup squad. And I think that's quite crucial because, as we've talked about before, international managers, Stuart, will pick a player because of what they've done for them rather than necessarily what they're doing in club form generally.
Yeah.
He has said, though, Tuchel, that the player has to be playing. He's made that clear. And that was about Lewis Skelly, wasn't it? If he's not playing, it's going to be a problem, was what he said. Not playing for Arsenal, it's become a problem for him.
Yeah, which is fair. But listen, if Declan loses his position at Arsenal for the last month of the season, I think he'll still be getting on an aeroplane and starting for England, potentially. But,
I think it would be difficult to understand if he lost his place at Arsenal. But then, as we say, form can turn around. I think as well, on Bellingham with Tuchel, I think that what he's been saying about Tuchel, even in the interview we did with him at St George's Park, there's lots of things he said about Jude Bellingham. Do you actually think all of this is measured by Thomas Tuchel, that he knows exactly what he's saying and he's just seeking to mid to long term manage the player ahead of the World Cup?
I've got to say yes. It will be measured and thought out. Parge, you've walked into press conferences before and you'll know what's going to be in your mind and the messages you want to put out there. So it will be measured with all managers. But I honestly feel as though he gives an honest assessment of players if you ask him a question, and sometimes he wouldn't have to do that in the position he's sat in. If you're England manager, you know you're going to get dissected. He got dissected for something he said for an interview with me and you about Jude in the summer, which I felt sorry for him because I don't think it come across like he meant it to come across in some ways.
Yeah, if you actually go back, it was you, by the way. It was your question, and it was a question.
Just throw me under the bus, Charlie.
Just wanted to put it out.
Unbelievable.
Oh, Thomas, it was Stuart's fault.
If anybody wants to know, it was Stuart Pearce's question. But you asked him a question about tactics, and he suddenly comes out with this, my mother's repulsed by his behaviour, which is, has become. And at the time, we're all totally shocked. There's a big reaction to it. But as time's gone on, I've thought, he really, whether he wanted to say that word is another matter, but he really wanted to say something about Jude Bellingham. It's become clear to me.
I think he gave an honest assessment, but his wording was probably a little bit stronger in translation than it was meant,
Yeah. So I see it as well. That was our preview of the FIFA World Cup 2026 final draw, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van, driving businesses forward for 30 years.
talkSPORT's FIFA World Cup 2026 draw preview, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van. Got a Sprinter 906? Get a Service B now for a fixed price, expert technicians, and complete peace of mind.
Host nations are being drawn as we speak, so that's all stuff that we know already, and then it will be the draw proper. You can join us on YouTube and on CTV as well. It'll be that draw coming up next right here on talkSPORT.
So we are almost ready to go. Ian Danter here in the commentary box. It is all about whether Dean Saunders can retain the talkSPORT World Championship. To win the leg. She's got it! Gets it! Double nine! He refuses the handshake.
It's talkSPORT, it's the World Cup draw coming up live from the Kennedy Centre. And I'm hoping Stuart Pearce can keep a straight face as I say the ceremonial balls have been drawn. Straight face.
Thank goodness for that.
Indeed. Mexico, obviously, we knew in Group A where they will play in Mexico and potentially Atlanta, Guadalajara, Monterrey, Mexico City. Group B, Canada and Toronto and Vancouver, the two Canadian cities that will be hosting World Cup games. Also potentially venues for Canada in that group, Los Angeles, San Francisco and Seattle, which is obviously very close to Canada. And Group D, the USA. Donald Trump just drew that out. And Group D, Vancouver is another venue there, Los Angeles, San Francisco and Seattle as well. Now, Scotland could be drawn in any one of those three. England cannot be drawn into any of those groups. So just to fill you in on the picture so far, the actual draw proper itself still waiting for that to take place. So we will let you know as soon as that does happen. But just a quick word on Ronaldo, who we thought would not be able to play in the first couple of games at this World Cup, but the ban is going to be reduced, which I have to say, Charlie Mulgrew is bordering on the outrageous, isn't it?
Oh, madness. It wouldn't seen nothing like it before, but Donald Trump's obviously stepped in there and helped him out a bit to get the world superstar at the World Cup playing in games.
Is that fair, Stuart?
You should have a set of rules for a tournament at the start of the tournament and adhere to them. If he's suggesting that a sending off is a one-match ban, he should be banned for the World Cup.
I think that's fair, isn't it?
I don't know why he just didn't stick with the ban. He's only group games. Portugal will squeeze past them anyway and then bring him in all nice and fresh. It would have worked out wonderful. And now he makes this wonderful decision that, no, we must start the tournament. It's sell the tickets.
Do you know what? Wouldn't it be amazing if the Portugal manager left him out? That first game, wouldn't it? That would be some story. Also, we've discovered as well, Charlie Mulgrew, how many times have you seen Scotland at a World Cup?
Once, 1998. I was 12 years old. I was born in 1986. So I seen Scotland playing one World Cup.
What are your memories of that?
I stayed off school, a dogged school. I don't know if you know that term in Scotland. Means that you
dog school.
Yeah, it means you don't go to school. Your parents don't know about it.
You went to dog school.
No. You dogged school in Scotland.
You dog school.
You played truant, I think you'd call it.
Yeah.
And I sat down to watch a World Cup, forgetting there was an open ceremony. So I sat for about 3 hours watching the open ceremony before the game actually started. So I probably could have been at school, and then watch Scotland play Brazil and be unlucky again with a penalty in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. Unlucky.
John Collins scored.
Okay.
Well, listen, unlucky playing Brazil in the World Cup. It's a difficult game, and then to get it back to one each, and then lose 2-1 in the end. But That was my last experience.
My fondest memories of the World Cup was 1970 when I was 9. Brazil, that Brazilian team, Pelé, so, and the 4-1 obviously and all that. And actually, when that was a complete mystery, the Brazilian team to me then and years gone after, you never quite work out who the starting 11 was because they never played in Europe, but now they all play in Europe. And actually, I was looking at Brazil's front three this tournament, and it could well be Thiago, Premier League based, Cunha, Premier League based, and Estevão, the Chelsea boy. Yeah. That could be the front where we'll know everything about them.
Well, we've got João Pedro and Richarlison in there as well.
Yep.
Estevão has been a regular. Even though he's only 18, he's been a regular.
In the team.
Cunha's been a regular as well. So you're right. We will know everything about them. But that, in terms of those memories, I mean, that's some memory to have from boyhood, seeing that Brazil side on the telly and doing what they were doing. But do you not remember being gutted that England were 2-up against Germany and went out?
Well, the game that really sticks in my mind is the England-Brazil game, which was the one of the greatest games. If you ever get the chance to see it on YouTube, or if it's still on there, you should see it. And is it Jeff Astle? He has the chance. What an amazing chance to take the lead, and he misses it. The Gordon Bank save, of course, and then Jorginho. Was it Jorginho goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a classic encounter.
That it's amazing. Sort of you talk about that game. That was my first memory of football, the bank save, and I wanted to be a goalkeeper afterwards, and won my first medal as a goalkeeper after.
I could see you in goal, though.
Yeah, I was a good cat.
I can imagine that. Yeah, brave.
You went to cat school.
He went to dog school.
So, I mean, that was like just incredible, the 70 World Cup. It just had everything mystique, and when you're a kid, it's brilliant that you can look back. This is the excitement of the World Cup coming up, that you can look back, and there's going to be another generation of kids in 30 years' time that are looking back at this World Cup and say it's the first one I remember.
It's just going back to 1970, after the Brazil game, when Jorginho does the cross. He went out on the estate, and everyone who scored a goal would sit down and do the cross their body, with the finger. Not knowing exactly what
that was because of the gun crime on the streets where you live.
Yeah, in Wandsworth. Yeah,
I would also say that I remember the 74 World Cup final. I remember the 78 World Cup as well when I was growing up, and Scotland were in both 74 and 78, and England were in neither. So I actually grew up thinking Scotland were way better than England, and as time went on, I realised that isn't entirely
intelligence reached you.
Yeah, but at the time it was true. They qualified for 2 World Cups and England didn't. That was
the other thing that I think you always have to remember about these World Cups: the best side doesn't necessarily win it. Look with Germany and Holland when Johan Cruyff and that German team just scraped past them. And I think of that Brazil team when Italy won it, perhaps Brazil were the best team. So
in 82, you mean?
Yeah, it's not always. I don't think it always fits that the best team win it.
That's the nature of a cup competition, isn't it? We're still waiting for the draw to get underway. There's more singing going on. Andy Brassell is getting ready to fill us in on everything that's going to happen in terms of who's going to be in what group and where they're going to play.
Eurovision, isn't it? Because if his mic works, we're good to go.
I think we're good to go. Andy Brassell, are we good to go?
We are.
Hurrah! And we are getting closer to draw time as well. Ideally, where would England want to be based?
I think that's a really good question. I like a bit of sea air, so I'm thinking LA. That would be the one, surely, because I just associate New York City with really hot summers. So stay away from that. We had during the Club World Cup, the climatic unpredictability in Florida and in the South. So I'd rather stay away from that as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. You've been to. I've heard that England might be based in Kansas, right in the middle of the country. Okay, and you've been there in summer with Newcastle, haven't you, Alan?
Yeah, we played a game there, and we arrived early. I went for a walk midday, and there was. I kept thinking, what's happened? Like there must have been some national emergency. There was literally no one on the streets. I was absolutely sweating, and so hot. And I went to a restaurant, and the American guys looked at me and went, "Are you crazy, man? What are you doing in the street? Like no one goes in the street at midday." Because it was so hot, and the intensity and the humidity there was such that I'd never experienced anything like it. We tried to play a game there; it was just ridiculous. So they are some of the barriers that are in the way of when you're going to get your training camp. Do you actually want to train somewhere like that where all the games might feel a little bit easier, so to speak? Or do you want to go where the climate's a little bit nicer and have training at a higher level? So it's difficult different decisions.
I had a similar experience in Philadelphia. We played Real Madrid in Philadelphia, the Eagle Stadium, in July.
This was Celtic, was it?
Celtic, yeah. Mourinho was a manager of Real Madrid, and they had all the possession, as you can imagine. So we were chasing shadows for 90 minutes, but hard going. We were meant to have a night out after it to celebrate the end of pre-season and sort of a bit of team bonding. Manager tried to cancel it, but the night out still went ahead, but we were knackered. I mean, we're lying on the floor after it, like buckets of ice on us and cold towels and everything. It was like nothing. You try to run in that heat and close people down, and then when you receive the ball, think clearly. Really difficult.
This goes back to what you were saying, Stuart, about potentially venues and cities being too hot for European countries possibly to make it, certainly a Northern European country. And Andy Brassell, there are, listen, not every venue, not every host city rather, is going to be absolutely sweltering. Toronto, for example, the temperatures June, July are early to mid-20s, so that's more palatable, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I think it's very difficult to judge when we're ahead of it, but my experience from the Club World Cup is like, I even talked about Los Angeles being coastal and getting a bit of breeze, but it doesn't always work out like that. I mean, for those games in LA during the Club World Cup, especially the first one between PSG and Atletico Madrid, was sweltering. It was absolutely unbearable, and of course a noon kickoff. So that's why not just the venues, but the kickoff times really matter when they come out that hat tomorrow.
Can I just throw something in the mix as well, which is an added complication here? The Champions League finals on the 31st of May. England have got 2 friendlies potentially in Florida, not confirmed as yet, but they'll be on the 3rd or 4th or probably the 6th or 7th. So any teams involved in the Champions League will not contribute players, I wouldn't suspect, a few days later in Florida and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So Thomas Tuchel and the FA will be looking, and whilst they'll be supportive of English teams, they won't really want the likes of Arsenal to get to the Champions League final with Declan Rice, Saka, Eza, Madueke, players that are going to contribute, and that throws into the mix as well.
Yeah, I think, and Andy
and Chelsea, by the way.
Yeah,
exactly. So
Newcastle.
So you could really have some players missing from your preparation and your build-up.
Yeah, of course.
And Andy, I think that's worth bearing in mind. It's a situation that has to be managed. There's no question about it. And of course, that could play into when England play their first game. If they are drawn out early, if they are in C, for example, then they'll be playing earlier.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. But I just agree with Stuart, really. I mean, this is modern football. No days off. You have to deal with that as a player, I suppose. And what we're talking about, and what Alan was talking about specifically earlier, that idea of easing players in during the group stages, using all the breadth of your squad. I think that's really important because especially we know there's a lot of football in the first round. I mean, we're talking about 72 group games. There were 64 in the whole of the last World Cup. So really, because we're playing so much football to eliminate so few teams, a little bit like the restructure of the Champions League, that there is the opportunity to give players a little bit of a break and manage the situation that they're in rather than the ideal situation which you would like to have them in, because it's just got to be for England and those big teams about them peaking in the knockout stages.
And Andy, let's have it right, because what you said there is really important. That actually, with a lot of best third place teams going through as well, so few teams are going to actually be knocked out of this group stage.
Yeah, that's right. Look, England don't want to finish third, it's clear. But what we've talked about, the idea that Argentina, France, Spain, England don't meet, are kept apart to the semi-finals if they win the group, that's a big if. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if one of those, draw dependent, obviously, we're going to find out very shortly, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of those didn't win the group, because there's a situation where they're in sweltering heat against opponents who maybe are a bit more used to that or something like that. You know, there will be a few surprises in the group, I suspect.
Yeah, there's one interesting thing that I thought about when I was watching that World Club Championship, was that actually tactically for the manager, this is a good tournament because you're going to get water breaks, so you're going to actually at say 20 minutes, 25 minutes have an injection into the team of tweaking the team. Quite literally, without trying to get some kind of message onto the pitch about changing the system, moving a typical player to a certain slot where you think there's an opening. So I think when I look at it as a manager, I think it's a great tournament for managers. It gives you another tool.
It's a great point. And do you think expanding on that, we're seeing injuries in the Premier League now, and there's a suggestion that in the game there is an injury break that gets reinforced by if the goalie goes down, the manager can get the players together. So will that be a tactic as well used by managers as well as the drinks break?
Well, that I think I've experienced them before in friendlies as well, is that sometimes the referees say if we do get an injury, we might take the water break at the same time.
Okay.
So that kind of works. That's okay. But as I say, it definitely gives you a great opportunity to work with the team, even if even for 3-4 minutes you can adjust something.
Yeah, I mean, you could have the water break say at 22 in the first half, and then by half an hour, a manager might need to say something else, and a goalkeeper suddenly goes down. Yeah. I mean, by the time the World Cup comes around, it's too soon for anybody to do anything about that. Should anything be done about it, or are you okay with it?
Well, how can you tell whether a player's got a bona fide injury or not? And you know full well if the goalie goes to floor, the game's going to get stopped.
Yeah, but what you do about it is you could take off, say, the captain. A player comes off if he's injured, stays off for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You could have a rule change, actually, because I thought about the other day when I see that it was a Man City game when the goalie got injured. That if you just had one simple rule change that the team can't come to the sideline when there's an injury.
And then you throw VAR into the mix, then where does that leave us? Stops. A lot of stop-start in it.
You're right. Yeah. I mean,
there definitely will be a water break. So therefore, forget about that tactical one or an injury. You will get a chance somewhere midpoint of the first half and midpoint of the second half to interfere with the team.
So do we think that just expanding on this, I think it's a really good point. Expanding on this, are we suggesting that the coaches and the managers at the World Cup, it's the ones that can deliver in live action, not the ones that take 3 days to decode and look at the game and say, we were overloaded there. It's the ones in real-time action and the eyes up in the stand that pick it up as well.
I always thought this about Steve Coppell. When I was a player for Steve Coppell, I used to think Monday to Friday, he didn't really do much. But on game day, he come alive, and he was brilliant before the game, and brilliant at substitutions and at half time, and would win the game, and you'd be like, yeah, because he was on it on the, that's what he was really good at. And I think, as you say, when you get to that level, we're talking about some great managers who obviously are at the tournament. The better ones will be better at that.
And if you're in the ascendancy, this is the other side of the argument. If you're in the ascendancy and you're really pressing, and then there's a water break, and it gives the other team a chance to. It's a hard one.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, because and I thought there was an interesting point. I was watching a player talk about the other day about when a manager makes a substitution, a defensive substitution, it mentally brings the manager wants us to defend deep.
Yeah.
So you could make a defensive substitution, but give the message to the team in that water break. I'm putting a defender on, but this was not us sitting off. We got to get that second goal,
Because it is as simple as that. It is as simple as that for a player. A substitution like that would make you go a wee bit on the back foot and probably defend your box.
Yeah.
I can tell you that you haven't missed anything in terms of the draw. It hasn't started yet. It is running a little bit late. Rio Ferdinand, former England captain, has been introduced on the stage. He is helping to conduct the draw this evening, so he's part of it. Alongside him will be the British presenter Sam Johnson as well. But Rio, they've just played a video of Rio and kind of hamming up a phone call to Gianni Infantino. I think it was Infantino inviting Rio to do the draw So I never thought I'd see Rio as part of this, but fair play to him. I think he's...
he moves in big circles, Rio.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah, it's impressive. Not such big circles. Kevin Hart, who's smaller than I realised.
Yeah, he's turning circles much smaller. You can see that from here.
Absolutely tiny, yeah. Must be about 5 foot, but very funny man. In terms of security, have you got, in terms of the security of the tournament, bearing in mind it is in the USA, Stuart, and the USA is at the centre of everything, have you got any concerns heading out there? Because you've been out there fairly recently in Las Vegas, haven't you?
Yeah, I was out there for the rugby league game in Vegas.
How did that go?
I've got to... Well, apart from the fact I was taken to hospital for 10 days afterwards, it went really well. Thanks for asking. To be fair, I got through customs as easy as I ever have done in the States. You know, just straight in and straight through, which is unlike that. Normally, like where you're staying, what you're doing, why you're here, why you're not here. It's really good. So, listen, I think anywhere you go in the world this day and age, you keep your fingers crossed that there is no problems. But you do know that whenever there's a major tournament, whether it be Rio, whether it be Russia, wherever it be, the eyes of the world are on it, and they want to make sure security is top-notch.
Well, the draw for the FIFA World Cup 2026 is almost upon us. So before we cross to the Kennedy Centre in Washington, D.C., let's get a reminder of everything you need to know and England's potential pathway throughout the tournament with talkSPORT's chief football correspondent, Alex Crook.
Thomas Tuchel's side are one of the top seeded teams. That means they can't play France at least until the semi-finals, assuming they win their group because of a new seeding system that FIFA have introduced for this World Cup. In terms of the teams they could pull out of pot 2, we've got Croatia in there, but I think Norway would be their trickiest opponent. Erling Haaland, of course, has scored bags of goals in qualifying. They've got the Arsenal captain Martin Ødegaard as well. Dropping down into pot 3, I think England will be keen to avoid Morocco. They're one of the big stories from the last World Cup in Qatar, and have got some very talented players, not least Hakimi at Paris Saint-Germain. Colombia are in pot 3 as well. They're going along nicely, although they are a team that England have beaten in the World Cup in the not too distant past. Pot 4 shouldn't hold too many fears. Jordan, as it stands, the highest ranked team in there. That's a game you would have thought England would win with ease. In terms of Scotland, back at the top table for the first time since 1998, well, they are in pot 3. It's going to be really interesting to see how their draw pans out. Back in 1998, they played Brazil, went 1-0 up through John Collins and lost the game. Brazil, Argentina, two teams that could be pulled out of pot 1 to face Scotland, as well as England, of course, although that can only happen assuming that England haven't already drawn a European team, because only 2 European teams can be paired in the same group. But let's just say they get Brazil or Argentina, you're then talking, like England, about Croatia, Norway, or even Italy, who come into pot 4, assuming they win the playoffs, as one of the European teams that Scotland could face. And then, like England, they want to avoid Morocco and Colombia as well. Of course, it's all speculation for now. Find out for real who England and Scotland draw by tuning in right here on talkSPORT.
That's our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, who is live from Washington, D.C. at the Kennedy Centre, and the draw is up and coming. It is imminent. I want to ask Charlie Mulgrew, England can't get one of the host nations. Do you actually want to get one of the host nations in the group stage?
If I was to choose one, it would be USA themselves, because it's out by LA, so that's where the game would be. That'd be good to get over there. I think the Tartnama would enjoy that with the kilts on and the Timberland boots.
Yeah, Group D. Group D is where you're looking at. I'm not sure they'll need Timberlands out there, mate.
They'll be wearing Timberlands, don't worry about that. And nothing under the kilts.
Oh, okay, that image, thank you very much. Introducing the draw assistants very shortly. Let's speak to Andy Brassell, who will be following it very, very closely. And, I mean, it's fairly straightforward once a team is drawn where they are. And we also know what position in the group they're going to be in already, don't we?
Yeah, we do. So we know, for example, it's going to be a pot 3 team that comes out for Mexico in the second position in the group. That means that will be Mexico's first fixture and the opening fixture of the tournament. So Mexico City, that is one of the possibilities for Scotland. As Charlie was saying, they've got a possibility of either getting the USA in Los Angeles, that will be in the SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Very noble sporting history in that part of Los Angeles, of course, or Mexico in Mexico City. And like Charlie says, I think we know which one they'd prefer. Now, from the Mexico perspective, of course, the one you're not looking to get out of pot 3, it's got to be Norway, because Norway, as Alex was saying there, not just a great deal of quality outside Erling Haaland, but it doesn't matter if they haven't got the best team. As Alan was saying earlier, this is a cup competition. If Erling Haaland goes on a tear, who knows how far Norway can go?
Oh, absolutely. They've got goals galore in them, for sure. If Scotland do get drawn out first, then they will be in the opening game. They're in the opening game of the last Euros in Munich against Germany.
Yeah, it didn't go well.
I was there. It did not go well at all, did it?
No, it didn't. 5-0 Germany, I think it was. So
yeah. I mean, is that experience for a lot of those players? Is that something where in their minds they're thinking, I don't want to do that again, or let's put that right?
I don't think they'll be giving it too much thought. As a nation and as a group of players, to be at a World Cup is amazing. I don't think just to be there is great. Doesn't matter who Scotland play against. So to be part of the opening game would be a great occasion. I don't think there'll be too much thought back to the Germany game. Completely different game.
In terms of the other home nations, they are involved in the playoffs, and those countries will be drawn out, but they'll be known as UEFA Playoff A, UEFA Playoff B, UEFA Playoff C, UEFA Playoff D, and FIFA Playoff 1, FIFA Playoff 2. So UEFA Playoff A, for example, is Italy, Wales, Bosnia, Northern Ireland. So one of those. So it could be, and they'll be in pot 4. So Italy could be a pot 4 team. Wales could be a pot 4 team. So there's some jeopardy there with the pot 4 teams if you get one of those in your group.
Yeah, there certainly is. As I say, I don't think you'd want them. The Italians, not sure what they'll deliver. I don't think they're the powerhouse they used to be, if you're going to take them. But to be fair, there's some curveballs there. You know, it won't be easy sailing for somebody. Somebody that is a number 1 seed will have a bit of a problem in their group.
Well, Sweden, obviously have got an English manager, but they have an outstanding team that they haven't really got going. I mean, Isaac at the top of the pitch there, that team could really be a threat, and I expect them to get through that playoff B. So, that's the type of team you don't want to draw.
Playoff B is Sweden, you're right, Albania, Poland, Ukraine, Albania. We were in Albania and Tirana to see England win. That's final qualifier in England's group. Turkey, Slovakia, Kosovo, Romania in Playoff C, and UEFA Playoff D is Denmark, the Czechs, Ireland, and North Macedonia. In terms of the FIFA Playoff 1, DR Congo is one to be avoided, Jamaica, New Caledonia, FIFA Playoff 2, Iraq, Bolivia, and Suriname. And of course, we won't know who wins those playoffs, who gets through those playoffs until March. So that's another little unknown factor before we get to the summer. And hard for managers to prepare, isn't it?
It is. I'm sure England at this stage, and Scotland the same, that are waiting to pencil in friendlies, but they'll want those friendlies to mimic teams that are in their group potentially,
I say that all of those will go into pot 4. Whoever wins those playoffs will be in pot 4, which is absolutely true. But here's the catch with that. If Italy had qualified directly, if Denmark had qualified directly, they would have been in pot 2. Wales, had they qualified directly, would have been in pot 3. So you've got 2 pot 2 teams there and could end up in pot 4. That's the jeopardy of that situation. That could mean a really... what looks like a potentially straightforward group suddenly becomes a very tough group.
Yeah, and that's what's going to be hard to work out tonight. When you get the groups, with those playoff teams, it could be very different. You could find yourself with a team that you weren't expecting. But, looking at those playoffs that we have there, they look actually harder than Group 3, don't they? The pot 3.
Absolutely right, yeah.
So that is real jeopardy in there.
I watched Denmark closely. I watched Denmark closely against Scotland, and Scotland have done unbelievable. Steve Clark's done a great job to get there. Denmark have been really unlucky. I think the one result against Belarus is what's done them. Scotland had to win 2 games now to qualify, assuming that Denmark had won their 2 games or beat Belarus, and they didn't. So Denmark are a really good side, a side you wouldn't want for pot 4.
The one thing you do have at every major tournament, a group of death. So full well there is going to be a group of death somewhere or other.
Yeah, there is. We are getting very, very close to the draw. Andy Brassell, I think the whole room out in Washington is getting very excited about what's going on. All those who are doing the draw, those famous sports stars have been introduced already. We're getting very close.
Yeah, that's right. Very disappointing that Shaquille O'Neal wasn't introduced as former owner of Northampton Town, but you can't have everything, I suppose. I guess going back to Stuart's point about the group of death, that is possible, of course, and I think the European qualifiers that are all going to go into pot 4, and Italy's the one we're all looking at. I mean, look, I was in Italy this week and there's a great deal of pessimism there. I think the nerves that they might miss a third successive World Cup, which is unprecedented really for a footballing nation the size of Italy, is playing on the minds of even the most optimistic Italian football fans and journalists. But I guess what we have to say in the context of this expanded World Cup is a group of death. Is it really a group of death? Because you can still finish third and go through.
Yeah, true, but maybe it's about confidence and results that you have in that group of death in inverted commas. You need confident momentum built going forward in a tournament, Stuart. You've been there.
Well, is it going to be a group of minor injury then? Is that what Andy's suggesting, potentially? Yeah, listen, you need momentum. There's no doubt about it. You do need the luck of the draw. The 2 semi-finals I got to in major tournaments, the draw fell kindly to us, We got Cameroon in a quarter-final. Cameroon, albeit, were probably the better side on the day, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, it was a tough game.
They had 4 players suspended for getting disciplinary records. They had a couple of injuries, and you thought, it's just fell in our lap, quarter-final here. But listen, maybe a stronger side might have put us out in the quarters.
Mate, I do not. Since Iceland 2016, I do not believe in favourable draws.
Yeah.
I remember everybody on the talkSPORT team celebrating that we hadn't got Portugal, we got Iceland. It was a last-minute goal somewhere. And I just sat there thinking, OK, I know why you're celebrating, but let's just wait and see. And, of course, we know what happens.
There's no better feeling as a player sometimes going into a game and being an underdog. Having been in the Champions League with Celtic or played with Scotland in difficult groups, it's brilliant going in and thinking nobody expects anything for us here. You have nothing to lose. Let's just sit in a shape and we'll get them in a counter-attack. And you can really go through the game without having a lot of possession. But it gives you a lot of confidence that you feel that there's not a lot expecting from you.
Especially in the climate you might be played. That is the ideal tactic, potentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the former England captain Stuart Pearce, former Scotland captain Charlie Mulgrew as well, and Alan Pardew, the last Englishman to win the Premier League Manager of the Season. We are about to draw the teams from pot 1. So, to the Kennedy Centre in Washington, Tom Brady.
All right. First up, Brassell.
So that's the first team out. They are into Group
Cheers.
C.
The record 5-time champions are the only team to have participated in every World Cup and lifted the trophy in Mexico in 1970 and again here in the US in 1994.
They'll be playing their games in Atlanta, Boston, Miami, New York, New Jersey and Philadelphia.
Group C in position 1.
Okay.
Good start, that, Tom. Good start.
All right.
Next ball.
Group E's coming up right now. Tom Brady again. Struggling to open the ball.
Seemed easier in rehearsal. Okay. Next up,
Germany are in Group E. So Group A, Mexico. Group B, Canada. Group C, Brazil. Group D, USA. And Group E, Germany. They'll play in Toronto, potentially Toronto, Houston, Kansas, New Jersey and Philadelphia. So Germany, Group E. Group F coming up next. Is Tom going to pull out England?
Get into a rhythm.
All right.
Struggling again.
They are a bit fiddly.
All right.
Netherlands are in Group F.
The 3-time runners
where
up
they will
reached the
play
quarterfinals at the last
in Monterey,
World Cup
potentially, in Mexico, Dallas, Houston, and in Kansas, which, as Alan told us earlier, is going to be very, very hot. So, Group G, here we go. Still waiting for England. Belgium in Group G. Cool. Vancouver, Los Angeles and Seattle. That is the cool group in terms of temperatures. That would have been a good one.
Yep, Belgium go into Group G in position 1.
Belgium, USA win their groups. They could potentially meet in the round of 32. There's one to watch out for. So Group H. Spain.
Favourites.
Guadalajara, they'll go to.
Spain lifted the World Cup trophy in
Atlanta,
2010, becoming
Houston,
the fifth
and
different European
Miami.
team to do so.
So Group H is Spain. Four more groups. We're still waiting for England.
In position 1.
Okay.
So there's a Rio
doing
Ferdinand.
well.
4 more.
Tom Brady again. He's opened it up.
Heavy watch on.
Argentina are in Group I.
There you go. Ooh, the defending champions. The
So
first
Argentina and
South
Spain
American team
split
to
in the
put their
draw
spot.
from the seedings. We know that
Argentina
much. So
now
they won't be
defend the title they
together
won
in the same
in
quarter of the
such
draw,
thrilling styling
or same
manner
half of the
and
draw even.
lift this trophy for a
Can't even
fourth time.
meet
We all
each other
remember
until the
that
final because they
final,
are the top 2 seeds. Spain number 1, Argentina number 2.
Well, we have a factor
So
here,
Argentina in
just
Group
so you
I.
know, the first one. Argentina going to J1. And we skip I because Spain and Argentina, they must be in separate pathways.
Okay.
So Argentina Group J,
So
and
that's
they go
Rio
to position
explaining
1.
because of the seedings, Argentina move into Group J from Group I. So Tom Brady again. France.
At the last 7 World Cups, France have reached the final
So France
4
are
times.
into Group
winning twice
I,
in
but they are
1998
seeds
and 2018.
as well. They're seeded 3rd.
Back to Group
England seeded
I,
4th.
where France will be in position
Most
1.
successful team the
Almost
last
there, Tom.
24 years in the World Cup, France. 4-5.
Well, let's hope that runs out. England have to be in L. Portugal will be K. So because France are in Group I, England couldn't be in K. So England will be in Group L. And Group L's games, the venues for Group L, currently, and this could change overnight, but as it stands right now, the venues in Group L where England will be Toronto, Dallas, New Jersey, Boston, and Philadelphia. Stuart Pearce, you okay with those?
East Coast. I think the East Coast is not bad.
Yeah. I mean, potentially elsewhere as well, but you're right. I mean, that's 3 East Coast cities and big cities as well: New York, Boston, Philadelphia. And that's yeah. I think you'd be happy with that if you're Thomas Tuchel.
100%.
Team to qualify.
And you'd be happy, Stuart Pearce?
I'm happy to travel anywhere, my friend. You know. So
We'll be neutral, right?
How about your gigs, mate? Does that work?
we'll find somewhere, mate.
You get it.
We're in Boston for the Dropkick Murphys. Don't worry about that. Everyone's happy.
Dropkick Murphys.
So now we know all the Pot 1 teams. They've been drawn. You're listening to talkSPORT's coverage of the FIFA World Cup 2026 final draw, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van. So
talkSPORT's FIFA World Cup 2026 draw update, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van, celebrating 30 years of opening doors for businesses. For the latest fixed service offer, search Sprinter Service B now.
Neil next to
So Group A is Mexico, Group B Canada, Group C Brazil, Group D USA, Group E Germany, Group F Netherlands, Group G Belgium, Group H Spain, Group I is France, Group J Argentina, Group K Portugal, and Group L is England. And a reminder of those venues where England could potentially play, and also a little reminder that overnight they're going to confirm everything about the schedule in terms of kickoff times and where the games will be played. So this is not certain as yet, but as things stand right now, Group L games, where England are, Group L games will be played in Toronto in Canada, in Dallas, in New York, New Jersey, Boston, and Philadelphia. So, if I'm Thomas Tuchel and I'm there, I'm thinking, okay, Stuart, this is familiar. We know these places. There's nothing that's not going to scare us or shock us with all this. I think the players will be comfortable with everything as well, won't they?
Yeah, I don't think from a logistical point of view that's too bad for England. Also as well, and you can confirm this with me, a Group L would be later in the tournament kick-off date. Would that be correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Which helps. So if you've got 2 teams in the Champions League, to have those extra few days, and it will be 6 or 7 days, in fact, the swing between first game and last game. I think that's really helpful to England.
It's like they just heard our conversation when you brought up the Champions League and thought, tell you what, just leave England until the end.
Yeah, exactly.
It's done us a right favour that.
Well done, Stewie.
I've got the Trump fella on speed dial over here. Don't worry.
Are you saying he's had anything to do with that draw? Possibly not. But also in terms of, listen, I'm not saying it's going to be really cool and autumn UK temperatures out there, but I think that there's advantageous temperatures to be had in those particular venues.
We have, well, wasn't that one of the hottest games in New York? In
New Jersey, yeah. I mean, that's
Republic of Ireland played. That was it. Republic of Ireland
in '94. Yeah.
Against Italy.
Philadelphia is where I played. Was where our game was.
Look, you can have some freak temperatures, there's no doubt about it. In terms of the forecast expected at that time, temperatures mid to late 20s in New Jersey, Philadelphia possibly temperatures late 20s. Boston is a bit cooler, 19, 20 degrees is your average around that particular time. But
they're good news for our fans as well, because that's pretty. You could probably get to all of those games pretty comfortably.
I've also just heard that England, if they win their group, potentially Mexico, if all goes to plan, in that round.
Perhaps not then.
Didn't want to carve out. Potentially Mexico in the round of 16. Right, we're moving on to pot 2. We'll find out who England have got. Remember, England in Group L. That's the last of those groups, and we already know who plays who and when, where they're positioned in the group. So Andy Brassell can be on cue and on standby to keep us updated with that. And what we mean by that, Andy, is as soon as, say, Group L's pot 2 ball is drawn out and we know who it is, then we'll know when and where, according to the current schedule, that should be played. We'll get to that in a second, but Shaquille O'Neal is drawing out the pot 2 ball. So let's listen in.
Korea Republic.
That's the first one out.
This is Korea Republic's 11th successive appearance at the World Cup. They famously reached the semi-finals.
South Korea have been pulled out already, and they're in Group A with Mexico, and they're in position 3 in there. Remember, if Scotland do get drawn out, they're in pot 3, Scotland. If they get drawn out in that group, they'll play Mexico, we believe, in the opening game, subject to confirmation overnight. Shaquille O'Neal pulling out another ball. Here we go.
Switzerland.
And the Swiss will be with Canada in Group B, which I think they'll be fairly comfortable with that. They're in the bottom part of the group. That's number 4 position in the group, Switzerland. And what's interesting about that is those host countries being seeded, Canada, are not strong. So they're not a top seed, they're just a host. That's why they are a top seed. Shaquille O'Neal struggling with the balls, but he's finally got it open. Here we go. Group C in position 2 with Brazil.
Morocco.
Oh, that was one to avoid. Definitely one to avoid. England have dodged one there. That could have been tricky, Alan Pardew.
Brazil, Morocco, that sounds interesting, doesn't it? What a game that is.
That's superb, isn't it? Fantastic draws. A lot of smiles going on in the room in the Kennedy Centre in Washington. So Group C, Brazil, Morocco will be the first game in that group, we believe, as well. That's gigantic. That's so good. I'm getting excited about that game right now. That's the one, isn't it? Let's stick Scotland in there, shall we? Here we go with the Group D ball, the 4th ball.
I think he's getting the hang of it now.
Yes.
Australia.
Look, mate.
Wow.
USA and Australia together. Australia in position 3 in Group D. So that will not be the first game.
The Aussies won't be frightened of the Americans, you know.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about America earlier, didn't we? And it's not been fantastic for them. We're under Pochettino. There's still a lot of work to do. Donald Trump seemed fairly confident, but I don't know what to say about that. That's Group D, USA with Australia. Group E, the pot 2 ball, rather, is being drawn out. This will be in position 4 with Germany.
Ecuador.
Another one to avoid. Wow, Ecuador are good. They finished 2nd in South American qualifying. Do not concede goals. Wow, that's another one dodged for England. Stuart is going, well, we've dodged Morocco, we've dodged Ecuador. Brilliant.
The draws are good. Side of the country's good. What could possibly go wrong, eh?
Indeed. Germany with Ecuador as we get into Group F with the Netherlands, and facing them in their opening game as things stand will be
Japan.
Indeed. The Netherlands against Japan in Group F. So Mexico in Group A with South Korea. Group B, Canada with Switzerland. Group C, Brazil and Morocco. Group D, USA and Australia. Group E, Germany and Ecuador, and in Group F, Netherlands with Japan. Remember, England in Group L and still waiting for their Pot 2 team. Group G, Belgium, and drawn with them from Pot 2 in Group G are...
Oh, that's who they wanted.
Islamic Republic of Iran.
Yeah.
Interesting, because they are not allowed to have fans as things stand at the World Cup, because it's the travel ban that Trump has imposed. Visas for players, staff and players' families as well, but so far no fans will be allowed. That applies to Iran and Haiti. Iran in Group G with Belgium, Iran in position 3 in that group. So moving on to Group H, Spain, the top seeds, and placed 4th in that group.
Uruguay.
Yeah. Won the tournament before.
Thank goodness it wasn't Homer Simpson saying that. Spain against Uruguay in Group H. But that will not be the opening game of that group. And potentially a tough one for Spain.
Yeah.
I mean, Uruguay have got some good players. It's whether the good players turn up. Group I has got France already pulled out. They are leading that group from Pot 1. Pot 2, France's first game as things stand will be against Shaquille O'Neal.
Senegal.
I'll make that tough, yeah.
That is not good.
And remember, people say that England beat only the teams they should beat in knockouts or World Cups. Beat Senegal 3-0 when they're African champions in Qatar. That to me is an underestimated result, but it's all history now. France, so with Senegal in Group I, there'll be a few Senegalese who are looking forward to that particular fixture. And of course, that was an opening game, wasn't it? The Senegal won many years ago. Group J, Argentina.
This might be different because if Colombia come out, it's Austria.
Austria.
First World Cup since 1998 for the Austrians, and they are with Argentina in Group J. Couldn't really be much tougher for the Europeans, could it? Crikey. You almost feel sorry for them. Remember, there can be 2 European teams in the same group, so England have got to stand by for that. But Argentina with Austria, and Group K, Portugal have been pulled out already, so second
You're making it look easy now.
in that group. From Pot 2 in that group, in position 4.
Colombia.
Again, so England have got Croatia in Group L. It's Croatia again. We always seem to play Croatia, don't we? And we always seem to do okay against Croatia, dare I say, apart from the 2018 World Cup semi-final, when they were really at their peak. I don't know. Portugal in Group K with Colombia, who are in position 4 in that group. England's first game, then, is going to be against Croatia. Unless Shaquille O'Neal pulls something out of the bag.
Croatia.
Wow. Now, what that also means is that England cannot get Italy from Pot 4. They cannot get Wales from Pot 4. They cannot get any of those European playoff teams from Pot 4.
Well, that's probably good news then. Yeah.
And they can't get Scotland. How you feeling, mate?
Can't get them.
Can't get them. Can't have 3 European teams in the same group.
Oh.
We've dodged Scotland.
Disappointing. I'm getting my eye on
I think Scotland would do well in that Brazil-Morocco group.
Save us.
There you go. That's all the Pot 2 teams drawn. You're listening to talkSPORT's coverage of the FIFA World Cup 2026 final draw, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van.
talkSPORT's FIFA World Cup 2026 draw update, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van, celebrating 30 years of opening doors for businesses. For the latest fixed service offer, search Sprinter Service B now.
Let's talk about that a little bit more, Stuart Pearce, because Group L, England and Croatia, is the first game. We wait and see exactly where that's going to be, but I think that is okay. Easy to prepare, relatively easy to prepare for Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, from a preparation point of view, the analysis department, managerial, I don't think there'll be too many surprises there, but either way, it's probably not the toughest, but it's certainly not the easiest.
No. You're okay with that?
Yeah, you'd like to think that they're past their best now. You know, they've had the great kind of generation, all talents come through, but they're getting, near the age now where you'd like to think we could comfortably deal with them.
I find that really satisfying, and I don't want to take them for granted or anything like that. They did us in the World Cup 2018 semi-final. So I'm not saying it's easy for England, but I like the fact that it will be something well known. We also know
I also think that, you know, when you look at the climates that we've been talking about earlier, it's great that they're going to have the same problems we're going to have. So if we get a really hot day that day, then they'll suffer as well. You know, when you get the African teams and the Asian teams and South American teams, they're going to deal with it better. The heat.
England don't need to worry, don't you? You have got them down for resting players in the group games and taking it nice and easy.
Yeah,
usually in the
Charlie, I didn't say that. It was these two.
It's
over
nothing
him,
to do with
certainly
me.
him.
You definitely know that's not me, crikey.
Throw a first game.
I've got it in the heart for England, but I'm very cautious about saying we're going to win a World Cup.
Yeah.
Now, what we do know, as things stand right now, and this is subject to overnight confirmation, and you'll get it on talkSPORT tomorrow, the final schedule will be drawn up overnight. But that game, England-Croatia, is going to be played in either Toronto or in Dallas. Okay, so Dallas, 94,000 stadium, retractable roof, it's home of the Dallas Cowboys. You're looking at late 20s, early 30s temperatures daytime. Toronto, the Toronto Stadium in Canada, hour and a half drive from Niagara Falls, so fairly northern, 45,000 plus stadium.
That's got a roof as well. I've played there.
Early 20s.
Yeah, that's a good venue.
I would love that to be the venue, Toronto. So England-Croatia, first game of England's World Cup, and now we know England can't get Scotland. England cannot get any of the home nations. They can't get one of the European teams, i.e. Italy, in the playoffs, those playoff berths in pot 4. So pot 3 teams are being drawn out as we speak. So let's listen in.
South Africa.
Hey.
South Africa go into Group A. Mexico, South Africa is first game of the tournament, and that was the first game in the South Africa World Cup in 2010. Remember Shabalala's top corner special cracker. Beautiful goal that. And it's South Africa, Mexico in Mexico this time. June the 11th, Mexico City, Mexico against South Africa. So Mexico, South Africa and South Korea have been drawn together in Group A. Second ball being drawn out.
Qatar.
Of course, this is a tough sell for this group, isn't it? Group B, Canada, Switzerland and Qatar. And then you've got the pot 4 team to come. Charlie Mulgrew, how nervous are you waiting for Scotland to come out in pot 3?
Yeah, I'm having a look at the groups here and see where I fancy. I quite like the look of the.
This is the one. Group C.
Belgium, Iran.
Group C.
Come on, Scots.
Brazil, Morocco.
Go on. Anywhere near this.
Scots.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, hang on. Brazil and Paraguay can't be together.
Oh.
Wow.
Hold on.
Let's
see what they're going to do.
This is the typical luck the Scots have.
Whatever could go wrong will go wrong. Yeah.
It's going to be Scotland. It's got to be.
They're going to go into Group D with USA and Australia.
Redraw for Group C.
Can I just keep drawing it till Scotland get Group C?
Yeah. We Scottish.
Oh, dear. Unlucky Charlie. You had a little sigh of relief there, didn't you?
Poch didn't look happy there, by the way.
Did he not?
No. All sweating.
Wow. So back to Group C. This next one being pulled out will be Group C. So let's see. This is the baseball superstar Aaron Judge drawing these out, by the way.
Oh, it is.
He saw Cote
Reigning
Cote d'Ivoire,
African
Ivory
champions
Coast.
have been
Oh,
to
wow.
Can't do it because of Morocco.
Will 2026 be the first time they reach the
Can't go.
So they go into Group E with Ecuador and Germany. So Group C, Brazil, Morocco. They're still waiting for Scotland.
Still waiting.
Donald Trump wants us in there, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course he does.
We all want you in there, mate. You want to be in there. You want to face the best. If you're going to win the World Cup, you've got to face the best teams.
One good team would be nice, but
yeah, face them in the final.
Group C. Here we go. Brazil, Morocco, and
no, they can go in it. No.
Tunisia can't go into it either.
You're out before you even start.
This is so brilliant.
Scotland, the only team that can go in that group.
So Tunisia go into Group F with the Netherlands and
Japan.
So they are in 4th position in Group F. So that's Group F. Group E, Germany, Ivory Coast also in there. We're waiting for Scotland, and we go back to Group C. So Brazil, Morocco. Is it going to be Scotland? Egypt can't be in there either. Because they're Morocco.
Scotland, the only team in that pot that can win.
That's outrageous.
Norway are in there. Norway.
Egypt going to Group G with
Saudi Arabia. They can go in there.
Belgium and Iran. So yeah, Scotland aren't the only ones. You're right.
No, there's 2 or 3 in there that can still go.
Yeah, Iran can be in there. I think. No. Sorry, Iran have already been pulled out. Uzbekistan could be the ones. That's about it. Norway in pot 3 as well.
Norway go in this group.
Oh my goodness. So back to Group C. Brazil, Morocco, Aaron.
Brazil, I'm nervous in case Scotland come out here.
No!
You couldn't write that, could you?
It's Scotland.
The Brazilians are devastated.
Take the tartans back.
Laughing his head off.
Brazilians are devastated.
It's like he's resigned to it. Oh man, Brazil, Morocco, and Scotland 4th place in Group C. Charlie, how you feeling? You okay?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure in 1998 Brazil and Morocco was a group.
Is that right? Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Pretty sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Brazil, Morocco, and Norway was a group. So, what's the chances of that?
Are you confident? We'll get back to
Very
that in a
confident.
second.
Brazilians are.
Here we go, another ball coming out.
Saudi Arabia.
And Saudi Arabia go into Group H with Spain and Uruguay.
Where are Scotland's games?
This is a great question. So, we'll work that out in a second. Scotland currently in Atlanta, Boston, Miami, New York, and Philadelphia. So,
very clean so far.
Subject to change. Won't know any of this confirmed until tomorrow, and we'll bring that on talkSPORT tomorrow afternoon. Next ball comes out. Group I with France and Senegal.
Algeria.
Can't happen because of Senegal being African as well.
This will be
so they go into Group
fifth
J with Argentina and Austria, as far as I can see. So we'll still wait to see who's with France and Senegal. We're still waiting to see who's with England from pot 3. It could still be, can't be Norway for England, so that's good. A little moment there where I thought, oh, no, it's going to be Norway. I just realised England, Croatia can't get another European team. So Aaron Judge draws out the next ball with thinking Panama, Uzbekistan for England in Group L. Uzbekistan have just been drawn out.
Yeah, I think they're good to avoid them. I think,
and that's Group I with France and Senegal. So that means we have got Panama because they can't go into Group K because Colombia are already in. Oh no, actually, let's just hold off on that. So we'll wait and see in terms of Group L, but the draw is still going on. Group K.
We skipped I.
Have got actually Uzbekistan have been put into Group K with Portugal and Colombia. Okay.
We have to move on, and we'll wait for them.
Back to you,
Andy Brassell. Why is this? What's happening here?
Because they're part of the Asian Confederation.
Right.
Okay.
Panama.
Where are they going?
There's an issue with the Confederation playoffs later on, so that's why they've been moved into Group K. It's getting very complicated, and we knew it would. You could even have a deadlock draw at some point. It's something FIFA have said they really want to avoid. But here we go. Group L, England and Croatia, and in position 4 in that group are Panama, who we played at the last World Cup and walloped 6-0, as I believe. We were the top goal scorers in the group stage of that World Cup. So that's decent enough for England. Norway have been drawn out, and they're in Group I with France and Senegal. That is a tough old group, isn't it? That's all the pot 3 teams drawn. You're listening to talkSPORT's coverage of the FIFA World Cup 2026 final draw, brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van.
talkSPORT's FIFA World Cup 2026 draw update brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van, celebrating 30 years of opening doors for businesses. For the latest fixed service offer, search Sprinter Service B now.
Andy Brassell, quick word on England's Group L. England, Croatia, Panama, one to come from pot 4, obviously, and it can't be one of those European playoff teams, so England have got to be happy with that.
Yeah, you have to be super happy with that for the moment. I think, of course, as you say, World Cup history between England and both Croatia and Panama. And going back to something that Alan was saying, really, I think if you go back to that 2018 World Cup semi-final, so much experience, not just good players lost by Croatia, but experienced players as well. The amount of international caps that have gone out the door since then, it's really tough for Croatia. So, England have got to be happy.
It's a terrific draw very quickly, Andy, isn't it? With France, Senegal, Norway in Group I, with Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, Group C. It's a terrific draw so far.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And I think we can talk about what a toughie that is for Scotland. I don't think Brazil or Morocco will be particularly look forward to playing them as well. And you look at Brazil, and their issues really are in midfield and in the front half of the pitch. Carlo Ancelotti, in his latter years, is not the most aggressive attacking manager. So I think we're looking at maybe quite a low-scoring game, actually, between Brazil and Scotland, which is something they can do as well. But France would have been hoping for something a lot easier. You talked about the opening match of the 2002 World Cup, where France were part of that defending champions curse when they were beaten by Senegal in that opening game. Of course, 21 of the 22 players in that squad at the time were playing in France, so particular connection between those two nations, great shared football history between those two nations. And no one wants to play Erling Haaland. We talked about it not being the best team in a knockout competition. On his day, he will take anyone apart. Norway may not be able to win the World Cup. They're able to ruin it for another big team.
Yeah, just playing devil advocate on England's group. I was talking earlier, Stewie, when we were saying about, the run we've had. It's been fairly easy. We've got these 2 warm-up games we've got to arrange. And looking at that group, I think he's going to have to schedule in a top team. Yeah. Because otherwise, we might get to a knockout stage without actually having to really hit the gears.
Yeah.
So I know it's a nice group, but there's always a complication or an issue that overrides it, isn't there?
Yeah, and also when you're looking to play certain teams from certain regions, I don't know whether there's much need to play another European side to mimic Croatia. Panama, who knows? And it depends who you get in this last game, doesn't it? I'm not sure there's much weight, and as you say, you're probably better off taking a big hitter if they'll play you as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we might not even know who it is if it's one of the other FIFA playoff teams. Obviously, it can't be a European one for England. So, in fact, the pot 4 teams being drawn out, it's going to be very complicated. There'll be a lot of moving around. So we'll get to this in a second. I just want a quick one from Charlie Mulgrew. I mean, you've had time to digest Brazil, Morocco, and Scotland. Are you happy that best third place teams can go through?
First of all, have you ever seen a draw like that in your life?
Incredible.
Unbelievable. 4 teams couldn't make it in the group, and then out comes Scotland. Madness. Listen, we're at the World Cup. We're delighted to be there. The big games, bring them on. I mean, Morocco, don't know loads about them. I've heard they're a good side. Brazil, obviously, no bad team. So bring it on. Give us, what would sum up as if we get Ghana here?
Well, let's see. Wayne Gretzky, ice hockey legend, 4 Stanley Cups with Edmonton, has got pot 4 teams.
We got the winner of Denmark, North Macedonia, Czechia, Republic of Ireland.
Okay, so that's going to be...
Okay, that's European Playoff D. Okay. So that is in Group A. I believe that is possible to be in with Group A. So the winner of that, Ireland, then Republic of Ireland, as far as I can see, could be in Group A. If they win the playoffs, they'll be in Group A with Mexico, Korea, South Korea, and South Africa. So that's if Ireland win Playoff D. So he's actually drawn the short straw, isn't he, Gretzky here? Great ice hockey player. Not so sure this is his forte. Group B, pot 4 team drawn out. It's another one of these.
The winner between Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, Bosnia and Herzegovina.
And that's a European Playoff A. So obviously that's Wales and Northern Ireland involved in that if either one of them gets through, and Italy, Bosnia, the other two teams in that, and they go into Group B. So Wales, Northern Ireland, if they do win that playoff path, will be in Group B with Switzerland, Qatar and Canada, and I think they'll be happy with that as well.
They could be favourites.
Yeah.
First time